push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Halfway through the Olympic women's gymnastics all-around today, Simone Biles was in third place. She comes from behind to win her second all-around gold medal. Teammate Suni Lee takes the bronze. It's the sixth straight Olympics an American has won that event. The U.S. also wins gold in women's foil team event today. Patriots linebacker Matthew Judon back at practice today after showing frustration with his contract. His head coach is Jerod Mayo.
I remember as a player, it's always a difficult time, right? It's always a difficult time when you go through contract negotiations and things like that. We had a conversation, I have a great relationship with Matthew, I have a great relationship with the players, but we're moving forward.
Jerod Mayo. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Buccaneers will sign offensive lineman Tristan Wirfs to a 5-year contract extension worth almost $141 million. That's a record deal for an offensive lineman. Orioles infielder Jordan Westburg goes on the injured list today with a broken right hand. They're hoping he'll be back before the end of the regular season.
Here's one stat that's super simple to remember. Discover automatically doubles the cash back on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cash Back Match. With Discover, you could turn $150 cash back to $300. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. Matt Moscona. We are live today at the Renaissance Hotel, Tallulah, a place you've heard me talk so much about. We're here for a really cool event tonight as we're going to share a very special announcement. What we think is something really cool. We're doing big breaking news, and we'll get to that throughout the show today and have a great party here tonight. So invite everybody. Come out to Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel right here on Bluebonnet. It was day one for LSU fall camp. We have got to delve into all of that, but let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Day one, year three. Brian Kelly's Tigers hit the practice field. The media was invited to watch the entire thing. We got to see about 2 hours worth of drills. We got to see full team 11-on-11. We got to see 2 different periods of 7-on-7. No pads yet, just helmets and jerseys. But I think there's some very obvious takeaways that I want to delve into here as we start. But here was Brian Kelly after practice on day one.
The leadership, the understanding of how important it is to compete, even when you're not in a full equipment situation, really resonated for me today. I was really, really happy about the speed. I was really happy about the execution. By and large, I was pleased with the competitiveness, the focus of the group in terms of how they went through each and every drill.
Y'all, I got 3 pages of notes. I'm not going to sit here and read every single shorthand scribble scratch notation that I made, but I'm going to hit the high points for you here as we start. A couple of things that were newsworthy first, and it's personnel. Javen Toviano was back with the team today. As a matter of fact, Moose, I do want to play this. Here was Brian Kelly after practice giving the update on Toviano, who you remember a couple of weeks ago was suspended indefinitely after his arrest on video voyeurism charges.
Javion's been reinstated by the university. As you know, he was suspended from the university, and he was reinstated on Thursday. And so he's back in football activities, and we'll kind of get him, going again, back in the mix. And obviously he'll be a competitive player for us. He played for us last year, and get him going as he works through, his legal matters.
So legal matter not done, obviously, but reinstated by the university. Toviano was out there but did not participate. Same with Zy Alexander. Zy Alexander tore his ACL after starting 8 games a year ago, tore his ACL against Army. He was out there. Brian Kelly told us he is 100% cleared, but it's really a thing of he's just got to feel comfortable planting and cutting and doing all of that stuff. John Emery, who, of course, tore his ACL against Florida, was out there, was a full go, and he did everything today. Had a brace on that right knee, but John Emery was a good go. 2 players that were there that left, Shelton Sampson, made 2 amazing catches in the 7-on-7 periods. Really, it was in the 11-on-11, the first full team period. 2 amazing catches down the right sideline. But on one of them, Brian Kelly said bumped his head against the ground, came up a little woozy. They decided to hold him out the rest of the practice, but expected that he would be good to go for Friday's practice. And then Braden Swinson as well did not finish drills. We did not get an update on Swinson. I think going in, and I got a lot for who was with the ones, who was with the twos, some of the things that we're learning right now. But I think going in, the biggest thing that I think everyone has asked all offseason is, how do you replace all the offensive guys? We'll get to that. But is the defense going to be any better? And I've referenced this a couple of times to you here, and it was the thing I was going to look for day one. Because last year, day one, went out, and I had my notebook, and I charted receivers against cornerbacks in a drill they did. And I'll grant you a drill like that is maybe skewed a bit toward the offense, but it was overwhelming. I mean, it was like if I charted 20 reps, it was like 18 reps for the offense, only 2 incomplete passes, and one of them was like a drop. And clearly, look, you had the Heisman winner, 2 first-round picks, and you had a really good offense, but it also illustrated how bad the defense ended up being. What was so interesting today, in the 11-on-11 periods, which when they went 11-on-11 and I charted plays, and then in the 7-on-7s, when they must have run, 30 plays that I charted, y'all, the defense made plays. The LSU defense made plays against the offense. And you could say, well, maybe the offense isn't that good. I don't think that's the case because the offense made their fair share of really wow plays as well. LSU's defense had 4 interceptions. Harold Perkins had a pick. Kylan Jackson had a pick. Ashton Stamps had a pick. P.J. Woodland had a pick. Paris Shand in 11-on-11 deflected a pass from Garrett Nussmeier at the line of scrimmage. J.K. Johnson, Sage Ryan, Bernard Causey dropped an interception. J.K. Johnson, Sage Ryan, each made great plays. Sage Ryan had a TFL on a screen that he read beautifully in 7-on-7. My point is, by the way, Sage Ryan was running at cornerback today. Safety all throughout spring was with the ones at corner today. Brian Kelly said that was by design. They're trying to they're going to cross-train him and figure where he falls. My point is, it wasn't so overwhelming for the offense. Now, the offense made some really nice plays. Kyron Lacey high-pointed a ball on the sideline. We saw Mason Taylor make a beautiful catch on the left sideline. One of the stories of the day, who I'll talk about in a second, was Trey'Dez Green, who, y'all, it's going to be hard to keep that kid off the field. I'll get to more of that in a bit. But if you've been wondering, like, is the defense going to be better? If so, how much better? The answer was today they were competitive with the offense. That was not the case for the bulk of camp a year ago. Day one, no pads, I get it, and a lot of changes on offense, but the defense made plays. And I would have been I'm not telling you throw a ticker tape parade. What I'm telling you is I'd have been really concerned if we had gone out there and the defense got smoked again. They made plays, which was good to see. Here's how the first-team defense lined up. Your starters at defensive tackle, that's something we were interested in. Jacobian Guillory, Gio Paez, the Wisconsin transfer, got the first crack. Braden Swinson exited, so we saw Savion Jones and Deshaun Womack as the starters at defensive end. Major Burns in the star position. Your first-team corners were Sage Ryan and Ashton Stamps. At safety, you had Jordan Allen and Jordan Gilbert. That was the ones. When the twos went out there, Sean Washington, Kimo Makanaioli were your interior players. At defensive end, you had Paris Shand and Gabe Relaford, who I'll get more on Gabe because he had some really impressive wins. Gabe Relaford, the freshman from Evangel, really flashed in spring, and he's carried that clearly through the summer because he didn't look out of place at all. When they were doing offensive-defensive pass rush drills, Relaford smoked Ethan Callaway and Weston Davis. I mean, those are a couple of freshmen that he overwhelmed. So he was running with the twos. Kalaj Cobbins rotated in. Your second team, we know the linebackers, of course, as well. Perkins and Greg Penn with the ones, and it was the Weeks brothers with the twos. Second team defense at cornerback, J.K. Johnson and P.J. Woodland were your corners. Deshaun Spears and Kylan Jackson were your safeties, and Juwan Johnson was the star position there with the twos. So it's early. It was day one. But an early look at kind of what they're thinking. As for your receivers, a couple of observations. Kyron Lacey was awesome. You're going to have to get used to, whenever y'all watch LSU this year, game one, make sure you have a roster because there's a whole lot of number changes, y'all. I mean, Paris Shand is wearing 0. Ashton Stamps is wearing 1. Chris Hilton's wearing 3. Greg Penn is wearing 3. C.J. Daniels is wearing 4, which means when John Emery came back, he had to switch numbers, so he's wearing 22 now. He's been 4 for 5 years. Now he's 22, so get used to a lot of number changes. It looks strange. But all things considered, a really strong day one. And I do want to mention Tradez Green. We all know Tradez went to Zachary. One of the top players in the state was either Tradez or Dominic McKinley, who's huge, by the way. Breaking news, 6'6", 320. He's every bit of it. Bo Davis spent a lot of time, though, with Dom McKinley today working on hand placement, staying low position. It was a lot of technique from Bo Davis today. But Tradez was targeted 4 times in practice. He caught all 4 balls. And it was never the same route, by the way, either. The first one was a slant over the middle. Just a tight end release slant over the middle, caught it, housed it. That was a pass from Ricky Collins, from Colin Hurley. He caught a high-pointed a ball in double coverage down the right sideline, which was a wow-type play. They ran a tight end screen on the left side to Tradez Green, on the right side, and then they ran a shallow cross as well with him on the first play of a series with Colin Hurley. He caught all 4 targets. Brian Kelly was asked about him after practice. He tried to downplay it a little bit. It's one day, I get it. But I'm going to tell you right now, man, there are some dudes, and I've told you this before, you go out, I always go out the first day and say, okay, what freshmen look like just catch your eye the first time? You look, and the ball he caught, the one over the middle that he housed, I saw him catch it and run. I said, Jesus, who is 14? I got my roster out. I said, oh, okay, I got it. It's going to be – I don't think there's 40 catches on this roster for Tradez Green. There just aren't enough targets because there's too much talent. But he's too good of a player not to find a role for him somewhere, red zone, whatever it may be, because he's going to be a problem for a lot of people. Okay, just a few observations there from practice 1 out on the Ponderosa. Tigers will be back at it on Friday. Only 15 minutes of media availability on Friday, but of course we'll have those reports for you all throughout camp. Show Open Every Day brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. I was with my buddy Dan Palmer from over at Mockler this past Saturday. We're at Brock Rock and Wine, a great event. And, our friends at Mockler, great community partners. They're just so involved in so many different events all over town. Remember, drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the Tigers, the official beer of the Saints, the official beer of us here at AFR. If you're coming by Tallulah tonight, of course, you can grab an ice-cold Bud Light or whatever your spirit of choice may be. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Okay, y'all, let me knock out a quick break. I want to come back. The Saints had an off day today. But one of the guys we talked about earlier this week was Tyler Fulghum, who's a betting analyst for ESPN, and he put out some projections for all 32 NFL teams. And I want to kind of question him a little bit about what his thoughts are on the Saints. So we'll get to that. A ton to do. We will be so LSU camp heavy today. It's going to be a lot of Brian Kelly digging in deep to players and positions, groups, and everything we learned from day one and setting the stage. So we will be LSU football heavy today, and we're glad to have you aboard with us. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Hey, we got football tonight, y'all. If you're heading home tonight, if you're not going to be joining us at Tallulah, but you should come join us here at Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel. But if you're heading home and you're going to watch the Hall of Fame game, how about if you just turn on into Rouse's and grab dinner for the family? Walk into any Rouse's location, go to the left, you'll see all of their prepared meals. They got grab-and-go, hot and boiled kiosk for seafood, if that's what you're looking for, grab-and-go sushi and other Asian bowls and other prepared dishes. If you want to maybe grab something from the seafood market to throw on the grill, you can do that. Remember, they got tons of wines as well. So if you want to try some interesting wines, they got the Buy 4, Save More program. The more wine you buy, the more you can save. So you can try some interesting wines you may otherwise not normally try. It's all at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. We're fired up because Rouse is hosting Eagle 98.1 game day again this year for LSU football. Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Earlier this week, we talked about a piece up at ESPN.com from ESPN betting analyst Tyler Fulghum, where he made 3 bets for all 32 NFL teams. And as he notes in his tweet, yes, he hates your team. And if you're a Saints fan, you may actually believe it. He may not hate the Saints, but he certainly doesn't like this version of the Saints, if this is any indication. But excited to welcome Tyler Fulghum onto the show. He's on Twitter at Tyler_Fulghum if you want to give him a follow. Hey, Tyler, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Well, you and I are one and the same. We are kindred spirits. We are aligned. You note that Dennis Allen is your favorite head coach to fade, and you like the Saints under 7.5. But I mean, I'm right there with you, man. Tyler, I'm struggling to find good things to say about this team. So I'm not just having you on for validation. I just think it's an interesting conversation. What is it from an outside looking in perspective don't you like about Dennis Allen and this team this year?
Well, first and foremost, Dennis Allen's just been a profitable coach to bet against in his career. He has a 27-42-1 ATS record. He's covered 39% of his games. So just betting against him has been very good for your pocketbook. Now, if you bet on him, you're in the poorhouse. So that, to me, ATS record isn't everything, but it tells you how coaches, teams, players do relative to market expectation, and consistently Allen is worse than he is expected to be. So that tells me he's not a very good coach. You look at the Bill Belichick's of the world, the Sean McVays. We know they're great coaches because they've won Super Bowls, but they also cover games because they beat what the market expects them to do. Allen's the opposite, so I'm never, ever going to be betting on an Allen-led team.
Is there anything specifically with this Saints team, though, that maybe, it's outside of just obviously, look, I mean, when you're talking about sub 40%, obviously go the other way, right? So what is it about this team specifically?
Well, I think there's some promising young pieces, if you will, on this team. I love Chris Olave. As a matter of fact, one bet I want to make on the Saints is Olave to go over his receiving yardage prop because I think he's that good. I think the Saints are going to be playing in trail mode a lot. He's going to get opportunity, and there's not much target competition on that Saints team. And I trust him as long as he's healthy to be an efficient and effective baller on the perimeter. But Derek Carr is what he is at this point in his career, and he may not have the most formidable offensive line in front of him. The Ryan Ramczyk injury is a big issue. I know that Saints fans are probably excited about Telly Swaga, but we'll see how he does as a rookie. I know Trevor Penning hasn't lived up to his 2022 first-round selection. So my concern is that the offensive line doesn't give Carr the time he needs, because Carr is the guy who needs time. Otherwise, he just throws the ball out of bounds or checks it down to Alvin Kamara for 5 yards. So the offense, I don't know if it's going to be very good or explosive outside of Chris Olave.
Do you have any I don't know if you've looked any deeper into the Saints receiving core after Chris Olave, but is there anything else there that you do like at receiver?
Rashid Shaheed is a stud. Now, will he have enough time? Will Derek Carr have enough time, I should say, to access Shaheed where he wins, which is deep down the field? But Shaheed's proven to be one of the best returnmen in the game since he's been in the National Football League, and he's been effective when he's given opportunities as a wide receiver, and we expect that to increase the usage of the opportunity this year with no Michael Thomas to contend with. So I really like him. I wish Juwan Johnson was healthy for the start of the season because I think he's a good tight end as well. But, yeah, there's again, pieces I like. It's just I don't know if the sum of those parts add up to a winner here.
Tyler Fulghum is with us, ESPN bet analyst. Get him on Twitter at Tyler_Fulghum, Fulghum. You also mentioned that you would fade the Saints week 1 against Carolina. You would take Carolina in the points in the dome. But the thing that actually popped more to me was that you noted you wouldn't be surprised if the Saints finished behind Carolina in the division. Is that more of a fade on the Saints or more of Carolina improving here in year 2 with Bryce Young?
Sorry, it's a cop-out, but I think it's just a combination of both. I do think, again, the Saints don't live up to expectations. So we're talking 5, 6, 7 wins. That's where I see them coming in at. I do think the Panthers in year 1 under Dave Canales make a jump that few people expect. I don't think they're going to do what the Texans did last year. Okay, surprising everyone. But I do think they can get to 6, 7 wins year 1 Dave Canales. Look what he did for Geno Smith. Look what he did for Baker Mayfield. I don't think Bryce Young is a lost cause yet after just 1 season. There needs to be some improved play on the offensive line. They've done enough, I think, at the wide receiver position. Deontay Johnson's one of the most QB-friendly wide receivers there are in the league. So I think it is a combo of both, but I want to be ahead of market on the Panthers because no one is going to be betting on the Panthers to be a good team or exceed expectation this year after what they saw in 2023.
What about Atlanta? You noted that you would take Tampa under 7.5. So Atlanta is your division winner?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love Atlanta. I'm a Rams fan, so, take this with a grain of salt, if you will. And by the way, I have a story to tell about being a Rams fan. I think you know where that's going, 2018. But, yeah, I think Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris are going to be exactly what, along with Kirk Cousins, of course, what Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Bijan Robinson need. I think that offense could be one of the most potent in the league if Cousins stays upright. We know Atlanta has a good offensive line in front of him. And I just don't see much competition in the division. I think 10 wins is kind of the floor for Atlanta if they stay healthy. And I even floated on ESPN Bet Live this week that they could be a sneaky long shot at 16-1 to have the most wins of any team in the NFL because the NFC South is, in my opinion, a weak division. They play the NFC East where you get the Commanders and the Giants, and a Cowboys team I think is not that good. And then you get the AFC West as well, where everyone outside of Kansas City is probably going to be a 500 or worse team. So I'm not saying that is what is going to happen, but I have high expectations for the Falcons this year.
What's the price at 16-1?
Yeah, that's Atlanta to have the most wins in the NFL at 16-1. That means for every dollar you wager, you get $16 back for if you win. So if you wager $100 on the Falcons to have the best record in the NFL, and they end up pulling that off, you get $1,600 back in your bank account.
Tyler Fulghum is our guest. Anything else that when you were running through all 32 teams, did you get stumped? What was a challenging decision that you had to make?
The Chicago Bears were a bit challenging at 8.5. It's juiced at ESPN Bet minus 155 to the over. I think there's a lot of expectation for Caleb Williams in that receiving group year one. And I think they're going to be better. I just don't know if it's necessarily going to translate year one to the field. They were a 7-win team last year, so even if they improve to 8 wins, that's still under 8.5. I'm kind of leaning that way. Detroit is a team that I think going from the hunter to the hunted could step back a little bit, but man, their team looks really good on paper. Those were a couple that stumped me. I think the AFC East is hard to decipher. There's 3 teams that have better than a 50% chance, according to ESPN FBI, to make it to the playoffs. That's, of course, Buffalo, Miami, and the Jets, assuming Aaron Rodgers is healthy. I think the Jets can win that division if Rodgers is healthy. I still think he's a stud at age 40, even come off the injury. But Miami, that offense can't be dismissed. Of course, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in that division and one of the top 3 in the NFL. So that's a hard one to handicap because you have Buffalo at 10.5, Miami and the Jets at 9.5. Can all 3 of them go over? Maybe, but probably not.
2 more things. I want to ask you about the LSU quarterbacks, Burrow with the Bengals and Jaden Daniels with the Commanders. I noticed you like Burrow over his passing yard total at 4,025.5. That's at minus 115. That looks like that's pretty good value as well there. What thoughts on Burrow and Jaden?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, Joe Burrow and the Bengals were a team I faded last year. I predicted they would finish last in the AFC North and miss the playoffs, and a lot of Bengals fans were in my mentions giving me heat about that. But my handicap was that the cumulative effect of Burrow not being healthy once again in the offseason leading into training camp and all of the extra football that this team had played over the past couple of years, going to a Super Bowl, going to AFC title games, and then the brain drain from and the talent drain from their roster was going to catch up with them. Now, I didn't correctly predict that Joe Burrow would get hurt, and of course that helped me in having my prediction come true, but I just thought it would catch up to them. So now I'm back on the Burrow and Bengals train. I think they had their bad luck season last year, and they'll get back to what we would expect of them this year, and that means Burrow, throwing for a lot of yards with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And then Jaden Daniels, I think Washington's going to be a team that is kind of fun to watch on Red Zone. And what I mean by that is I think Daniels obviously very exciting. He's going to run. He's going to access Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson like, the previous quarterback, Sam Howell, and others couldn't. But I don't think Dan Quinn's defense is going to be very good this year. I think it's going to take a while for them to rebuild that side of the ball. And if that's the case, you could see a lot of high-scoring games with the Commanders involved where maybe they don't win a lot of them, but at least they're fun to watch.
All right, what's your Rams story? Do I actually want to ask it because I was in the Dome for the Nola no call, and it remains maybe the most my two most devastating moments as a sports fan both happened in the Dome, the Nola no call and then the 2011 National Championship with January 9th, a day that'll live in infamy in these parts. Okay, what's your story? And if you piss me off, then I'm just probably going to hang up on you and not be polite.
That's fine because I pissed off a lot of people in New Orleans that day. I took my then 14, 15-year-old nephew down to the NFC Championship game because we're from St. Louis, and I'm a Rams fan that's carried over from their time being in St. Louis and greatest show on turf. And he became a Drew Brees fan, and I am a big Drew Brees fan. He actually was a camp counselor for me when I was 14 years old at a Purdue golf camp, which is another side story. But Drew's a great dude. My nephew, loved Drew Brees. So he's a Saints fan. Lo and behold, I promised him if the Saints and the Rams meet in the NFC title game, I will personally buy us tickets and fly you down there. And that came to fruition. So I'm rocking my Todd Gurley and Aaron Donald jersey, and I'm sitting up in the top of the Superdome there, and I am getting heckled to death by all the Saints fans there. Then, of course, when the no call happens with the Roby Coleman and the Rams end up winning that game, the vitriol from Saints fans that is, of course, meant for the referees turns on me because I'm wearing those Rams colors. So I almost got killed trying to escort my downtrodden 14-year-old nephew out of the Superdome there, and thankfully we made it out alive. But I do love the city of New Orleans. Great food, great fun, great party. They just did not like me that day as a Ram fan.
Hey, man, I don't know that there was ever – literally ever anything that created that type of an emotional, visceral reaction. I mean, understandably, not that I'm saying it was okay to be rude to your young nephew. I just mean like with the nature of the call and everything. Oh,
no,
boy.
They were on my nephew's side. My nephew was wearing the Breeze.
Oh, that's right.
So even he was threatening to kill me. But I was about to ask for police intervention a few times with some fans who were threatening to take my head off. But
I don't know if it would have helped.
No, I don't know if it would have helped out. They might have been in on the turn the other cheek if they were Saints fans as well. But if it makes anyone in New Orleans feel better, I did go to Super Bowl 36. In New Orleans and watch my Rams lose on the Adam Vinatieri kick, which, started, unfortunately, the Patriots dynasty. So I do have at least, one memory from the Superdome that makes me cry in retrospect.
That was the 9/11 season, man. What a game that was.
It was a great game.
Hey, Tyler Fulghum, ESPN Bet. Catch him on ESPN Bet Live. He's on Twitter at Tyler_Fulghum, Fulghum, if you want to give him a follow. Hey, man, we appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, man. Be well. It's After Further Review. We're live here at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Y'all come hang out with us. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Tell y'all, I've told you for years now, it's that patented non-toxic dry fog. Kill mold, remove odor. I mean, let's say you have odor in your home or your office building or a workout facility from smoke, either from like cigarette or cigar smoke, or maybe it's smoke from a fire, or maybe it's odor from pets or odor from sweat in a gym or workout facility. You want to knock that out? One quick dry fog, half a day, boom, done, gone, sanitize, kill all the different harmful pathogens. It's at Parish Restoration. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Hit the restoration tab on the homepage. You get all the information. Jim Woodworth and the gang over there do awesome work. Jim's a veteran, Air Force vet, awesome dude. I've loved being able to talk about him forever. He partnered with Terrio and Tilly, my partners with Parish, on the restoration side. So they've rebranded, but it's still the same patented non-toxic dry fog. Check it out, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. All right, y'all fired up to be here at Tallulah. Come on by. If you're knocking off of work, hang out. There's so much going on here tonight. We're going to have a big announcement at the top of next hour, so in about 28 minutes. I'll tell you why we're here and what we're working on and everything. But it's a big celebration here tonight. We invite everybody to come out. There's going to be live music. There's small plates for $10.45 each. The lamb lollipops, smoked chicken wings, hummus duo, charcuterie board. They got great bar specials as well. Half off wine by the glass, half off specialty cocktails, $5 local draft beer. It's going to be a great night. So make plans to come on by here at Tallulah inside the Renaissance. If you haven't been before, great opportunity to come by, even if it's just to have a beer or a cocktail and see what we got going on and shake hands and say hello. We'd love to see everybody here. So come on by here at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. All right, quick break. We'll come back. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros. We got our Olympic update. We'll have Hunt Palmer. We'll have Chris Marler. We are going to have Ross Jackson today as well. Ton to do. And glad you're hanging out with us. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Remember, if you're having trouble with your home central AC, y'all, I'll tell you straight up, man, being out at LSU practice today, whoo boy, 95 degrees and relentless. Think about it. We all get to go inside of the AC, but your AC unit sits on side the house. It never gets to come inside. 24/7, 365. It never gets a break. Make sure you're taking care of that thing, and if you have any issues, call our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. You'll always get a living, breathing human that answers the phone, and when the technician's on the way, you'll get a call, a text, and an email alerting you with the name of the technician, a photo of that technician, and reviews of that technician so you know exactly who's coming to your house. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. River City's 1 Hour Air.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Hey, man, congrats to Jahri Evans. We got the news. The Saints are inducting the former offensive lineman into their Ring of Honor. It's just so worthy. Saints Hall of Famer and a guy that has been a Pro Football Hall of Fame nominee. has yet to be elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but I hope that day is coming eventually. I think we've long assumed that Jahri Evans will be a Pro Football Hall of Famer. I had this conversation 10 years ago with Mike Triplett, and his point was that it maybe isn't as cut and dried. And when you look at guys like, even guys that we have a great affinity for here, like Kevin Mawai and Alan Faneca, how they had to wait their turn. And Evans, while obviously a very decorated NFL offensive lineman, didn't even have the honors that those two did, and they had to wait. I don't know that it is as cut and dried, but one of the reasons I love this, there's two reasons I love this. Number one is Jahri Evans is worthy. I mean, he was the best interior offensive lineman in football for a period. Outside of Willie Roaf, I would argue Jahri Evans is the Saints' best offensive lineman. Again, outside of Willie Roaf, who is a Pro Football Hall of Famer. He is a guy that was a 4-time first-team All-Pro and was a second-team All-Pro once. He was a 6-time Pro Bowler. He was on the All-Decades team in the 2010s. So, yes, he's absolutely worthy of Saints Ring of Honor recognition. But he's in the Saints Hall of Fame. One of the reasons that I love this honor is because Jahri Evans has been eligible for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, hasn't been elected. So any way you can do something to elevate his perceived standing and status within the confines and the context of the Pro Football Hall of Fame voters, I'm for it. I'm not telling you definitively that it's going to matter for Jahri Evans, but it's not going to hurt, and he's worthy of the honor, so I like the timing as well. So congrats to Jahri Evans. It'll be November the 17th against the Cleveland Browns when they induct Jahri Evans into the Ring of Honor. So we'll look forward to that coming up this season. Okay, y'all, it is After Further Review. We're here at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Y'all come by and see us. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. They're a full-service optical shop. So if you need that eye exam, remember, kiddos are heading back to school. Before they do, get their eyes checked. Go have that eye exam over at the Williamson Eye Center. Actually, the Bluebonnet location of the Williamson Eye Center is right next door to where we are on the Baton Rouge General Campus. But there's locations all over South Louisiana and Greater Baton Rouge. Eyewear, if you have contacts or glasses, of course, you can get those at the Williamson Eye Center. And eye surgery, refractive procedures. You want to see 20/20 and ditch the contacts and glasses forever, they can help at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Kirby Smart and the Georgia football program have dismissed wide receiver Ra Thomas. That follows the receiver's Friday morning arrest on 2 misdemeanor battery charges and 1 felony cruelty to children's charge. This is not first run-in with the law for Ra Thomas at Georgia. Right after he transferred over to Athens from Mississippi State, was arrested for a misdemeanor count of family violence and a felony account of false imprisonment. Big loss for the Bulldogs. He was entered the campaign in 2024. Looking to be a major part of the offense, caught 23 passes for 383 and a touchdown in 2023.
The Florida Gators.
Good news for Billy Napier and the Florida Gators. 2026 4-star cornerback Devin Jackson pledged to Gainesville. Out of First Academy, major early boost to the 2026 class for the Gators. Chose Billy Napier in Florida over Georgia, LSU, Texas A&M, and more than a dozen other offers. 6'2", 185 pounds. He is the number 27 safety in the class of 2026.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
For 2026 recruiting news, Arkansas and Sam Pittman grabbed quarterback Javon Gilmore, the 3rd verbal commit for the Hogs in the class of 2026. A 3-star out of the state of South Carolina, 6'5", 195. Chose the Razorbacks over North Carolina State, Texas A&M, and Virginia Tech. According to the 247 composite, Gilmore is number 37 among all quarterbacks and the 9th overall player in the state of South Carolina.
the Kentucky Wildcats.
A rarity here as second-round MLB draft pick Tyler Bell has spurned the Tampa Bay Rays, who took him 66th overall. He will head to Lexington, Kentucky, and play for Nick Migione. Perfect Game ranks him the number 59 overall player in the class of 2024, an infielder out of the state of Illinois who will be eligible for the draft once again in the 2026 season. That is around the SEC.
It's interesting. Thanks, Muse. It was interesting hearing the Rah-Rah Thomas news, and that's even more interesting when you consider, look, we all just assume Georgia's going to be great, and they got lots of talent. They do. But remember, their leading receiver a year ago was Brock Bowers. He's now in the NFL. Their second leading receiver was Dominic Lovett. He's gone. Their third leading receiver was Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint. He's now with the Washington Commanders. Their fourth leading receiver was Ladd McConkey. He's in the NFL. Rah-Rah Thomas was their fifth leading receiver a year ago and their leading returning receiver, and now he's been kicked off the team. So you're talking about the top 5 pass catchers, not just receivers, but the top 5 pass catchers from a year ago are gone. So for Carson Beck and that Georgia offense, I know they recruit well and they got a lot of talent, but there's something to be said for losing your top 5 pass catchers year to year, and that is what they're faced with. So the leading returning receiver now is Dylan Bell, who had 29 catches for 355 a year ago. Oscar Delp's the big tight end who had 24 catches for 284. They're going to have new players, new names to get to know to step up there for Carson Beck, and the offense will see how they manage. Okay, it is after further review. We're here at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet. Y'all come hang out. Hunt Palmer will be on site with us here in 15 minutes. So we got a big announcement to make, and Hunt will help me make it. So we'll do that coming up in 15 minutes from right now. And we got Chris Marler next hour as well, Ross Jackson in hour 3. A lot to do, and glad to have you hanging out with us here. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You know the drill. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done. All different types of injuries as well. Of course, big truck wrecks, if it's hit and run, like Flaugier says in a big truck wreck, or hit and run, like Flaugier says in the rap. Get Gordon and get it done. You go to the website. You can see all the different types of cases they handle all over the state of Louisiana. You can call and talk to an operator at 888-8888, 888-8888. You can always go to getgordon.com if you'd rather start there at the website. The other thing that's really cool with the website, you could see Gordon Gives. There's a link for Gordon Gives, which is the charitable arm of the law firm. And it's just something Gordon takes a tremendous amount of pride in as I've gotten to know him better and better, giving back to the communities that he's represented for so many years. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Again, go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. If you've been injured, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Wrapping up hour number one, Brian Kelly did talk about the backup quarterbacks today after practice. I want to talk about that here in just a quick second, but as we do every day, as long as the Olympics are happening, and we're talking about the USA whipping up on foreigners and a whole bunch of events, and they finally boosted that gold medal count today. It's about time. All right, Muse, hit us with that Olympic update. Cue the drum.
Yeah, it was a really good day for Team USA over there in Paris. The best day of the Olympics so far. Got the gold medal total up to 9, 4 gold medals. Let's just take them in order. Men's rowing wins the first gold medal in the 4 event in 64 years, upsetting New Zealand there. Next, you went to the all-around gymnastics women's final. Simone Biles, no surprise, takes gold medal there, the second of her Olympic career, first since the 2016 games in Rio. Kate Douglas in the swimming pool women's 200-meter breaststroke final takes the gold there. And then just recently, the United States women's fencing team wins the first ever gold medal in the team event for the USA, or the team foil as they call it in fencing. So that's your 4 gold medals, has you up to 9 now in the Olympics. You also had a men's doubles tennis team advance to a gold medal match, so another one could be incoming. Other medals of note, Suni Lee in the gymnastics women's all-around takes the bronze medal, her second straight Olympics, earning an individual medal in that event. Of course, gold in Tokyo in 2020. So a dominant day. And then on the men's side in beach volleyball, you had a pair, Partain and Benish, or Benish, I guess is probably how you say that, advanced, beating Brazil. So they advanced out of pool play into the round of 16. Just a all-around great day if you're looking at the medal count in total. Oh, and I should note, Team USA women's basketball, dominant performance over Belgium, 87-74. So they continue on in group play. If you're looking at the overall medal count, 37 now for the United States. Up by 10 over host nation France, and trailing China by just 9 gold medals. That's your, by 2 gold medals. That's your Olympic update.
We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. We'll get to LSU's backup quarterbacks here in just a quick second. Remember, you weigh or measure something. They sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, proudly local for more than 75 years, still based out of their Harahan office, but they've grown now more than 30 offices across a dozen different states. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Start at the website, an amazing resource. ISO 17025 accreditation is available. You want to see all the different services they offer, start at that website, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. Brian Kelly met with reporters after practice on Thursday, day 1 of camp, and he was asked about the backup quarterbacks, A.J. Swan and Ricky Collins, and I charted every rep of 11 on 11 and 7 on 7, and they rotated really interchangeably today. But here was BK on the backup quarterbacks.
Doing the little things really, really well. You don't have to be spectacular. We have a really good offensive line. We have, I think, outstanding wide receivers, and we have complementary pieces. Do the little things well. And if you do that, you can win football games if you're called upon. You can't make the colossal mistakes. You've got to be able to do the little things uncommonly well. And if you do that, you're going to find yourself in a position to go in and help us win.
You know, if there was one thing that just the eye test that really stood out, it was A.J. Swann has dropped weight. He's down from the spring to now on the roster around 17 pounds. He's listed at 6'2", 212 now. Of course, it's the Vanderbilt transfer. And I know that we all understand that whatever LSU's highest achievable level is this year, it's going to be achieved with Garrett Nussmeier at quarterback. And beyond this season, everyone's very excited about Bryce Underwood. And I don't mean to just leapfrog over A.J. Swann and Ricky Collins and Colin Hurley, but that's just where the mindset of a lot of fans are. Is Nuss back next year? And if not, it's Bryce Underwood. I mean, that's where psychologically a lot of us already are. And I'm going to be really interested to see how this plays out with these two guys. And I'm not telling you the backup quarterback race is something that's at the top of everybody's interest list. But, I mean, over the last 4 seasons since Joe Burrow, every year we've seen multiple quarterbacks. And, look, I get it. It's been easier the last couple of years. I mean, look, Jaden Daniels got knocked out against Alabama, and Nussmeier went in. You had a veteran guy there. But even in 2020, we saw T.J. Finley, we saw Max Johnson. 21, we saw Nussmeier in that mix as well with Max Johnson. And I hope it doesn't matter. But history shows us that at some point in this season, somebody other than Garrett Nussmeier is going to take a meaningful snap for you. You hope it doesn't happen that way. But if it does, then who is that guy? And I don't have the answer for you. And today, both Ricky Collins and A.J. Swann made some really nice throws, and both made some tough throws as well. Ricky Collins threw a ball that was almost intercepted by Kylan Jackson. Ricky Collins threw a ball that was intercepted by P.J. Woodland. But they both made some really nice passes as well. So we'll continue to watch that as it goes and to see if either of those guys separates himself from the other. But one day in, and you have a couple of really good options there behind Garrett Nussmeier, but none obviously is Garrett Nussmeier. You need him to stay upright. All right, we'll kick off hour number 2 after SportsCenter. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing, parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. I tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's me, that's Ryan Terrier, that's Richard Tilley, that's Joe Morales, that's Trent Davis, that's our whole team. And, man, we are expanding our team as well. We just hired Matt Pearson from the state of Florida to come in and be our commercial roofing project manager. So we've grown so much in that space, we had to bring in someone who all they do now is commercial roofing to oversee that entire division. And we're so thrilled to have Matt on our team as well. Listen, no matter if you have the smallest repair at your home or the largest commercial re-roof or coating job, we can do it. And we can do it better than anybody. More than 30 years of industry experience among our team, and we're thrilled to be local. No matter where you are in the state of Louisiana, do business with someone you know. That's us. That's Parrish Construction and Roofing. Go to parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. We'll be in our new office here in a couple weeks. Excited to share that with you as well. parrishbuilt.com.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless you add Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Swimmer Katie Ledecky is now the all-time women's Olympic medals leader. She gets her 13th career medal today, a silver with the 4x200 free relay team. Simone Biles is the Olympic gymnastics all-around champ again. Biles wins gold today, adding to her Rio gold 8 years ago. Her U.S. teammate, Suni Lee, who won the gold 3 years ago in Tokyo, takes bronze. At age 27, Biles is the oldest all-around champ in 72 years. This just in, Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert has a plantar fascia injury in his right foot. He should be ready for the season opener. The preseason kicks off tonight. The Hall of Fame game, the Bears host the Texans. ESPN's Joe Buck believes Houston will take another step forward this year.
They're not going to sneak up on anybody. The schedule, tougher schedule, comes with what they did last year. The division is young and getting better. So, you know, it becomes a tougher test to get into the postseason, but I think they'll take the next step.
Joe Buck.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Friday, we close out our ESPN Rank 'em series with my top 5 Super Bowl contenders. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
AFR on demand. Got him. Hour 2 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. We are live at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Awesome spot you've heard me talk about for years now. If you've never been, I don't know that there's a better night to come by. Several reasons. LSU opened up fall camp today, so we're talking on AFR a ton of LSU fall camp, everything we saw. And we're also here
to make an announcement that we're all very excited about. 14 years ago, almost 14 years ago, we launched 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and we have grown tremendously over 14 years. From just when AFR was a 2-hour show from 3 until 5 p.m. to now having 10 hours of live and local daily content, and we've been fired up for it. And, of course, we've continued to expand from audio also to video with our video studio and our presence on many different video platforms. And I guess the last frontier to conquer was the written element of content creation. And we had a lot of conversations with our friends out at Bonneville in Arizona. They run ArizonaSports.com. It's similar to us. They're a radio group that started producing written content. And for the last almost 9 months now, I was tasked with essentially trying to launch the exact same thing here. And so today, we are very pleased to announce that coming soon, it will be LouisianaSports.net. And we've hired a great staff. To my right, Hunt Palmer, who you hear every weekday on the Hunt Palmer Show, is going to be our LSU expert beat writer. We've hired Ross Jackson from Locked On Saints. He will be covering the New Orleans Saints for us every single day. Our buddy Chris Marler, formerly of Saturday Down South, we've hired him away to cover the SEC and handle a lot of one-off content for us as well, at times Pelicans and preps and other things we need, doing a lot of our social media content, and many, many, many more. So we're fired up for this. You know how I feel about a paywall. I am allergic to a paywall, and as long as I work here, I will push to never have a paywall for anything. So it is going to be a totally free site, and we're looking to hopefully get a ton of support from all of you and change the way, again, that Louisiana sports fans consume their content. So we're in the process of going through the punch list items on the website right now and populating content, and by the time boot meets ball with LSU and USC on September the 1st, that site's going to be live, and we're very, very excited. So Hunt's here with me now on site. Hey, dude, how are you?
I'm very good. I'm told Gordy's buying some drinks, and that's good, so I'll be here for that. And I guess we can talk about the website too, huh?
Everybody, I think, knows, obviously you've done your show now for a couple of years, but your background, like when you first started in media, when you and I first met, I mean, I think you were still writing for the Reveille at the time.
Yes.
So for those that only know you as Hunt Palmer, radio guy from 1 to 3, tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, my background is actually in print. I have a print journalism degree from the Manship School at LSU. And
Me too.
Exactly. I started writing for the Reveille. I covered the tennis team, which was not that great, but I enjoyed going out to the Dub and checking them out. I covered the golf team. That meant that I just called the coach after they were done in whatever Florida city they were in and wrote 7 inches for the Reveille on Monday and got paid $20 for it. And then we started with Bayou Bengals Insider, and I covered LSU writing from that perspective. That's when we got introduced, and I kind of started doing some things here as well. And so I love writing. I enjoy writing. I'm passionate about it, and I'm excited to kind of get back into that. It's not something that I've done a ton of. I've written some baseball things here and there for some folks around, but I have not full-time kind of been in quote-unquote beat writing, and I'm excited to kind of dive back into a little bit of that.
When you look at and obviously we'll have Ross Jackson covering the Saints for us. Your primary responsibility will be covering LSU. When you think about it, as opposed to hosting a sports talk show and then writing as a columnist covering a team, how does that maybe differ?
I think one of the things I'm excited about is that I'm not going to be constrained by word counts or inches in a newspaper. It can be a short news blurb because you just need to hear that this happened. It can be a quick thing where we're doing a couple of really good quotes that I can add some context to there, or it can be a long-form column that's a big opinion that I want to fill a little bit more space with. And then with the content that we've got in terms of how we handle our audio here, there's a lot of things that people don't necessarily have the ability to listen here or there because they're not in a spot where that's possible, but they can read it, and we can repurpose that and put it into written form there if it's easier for people to consume. And as you mentioned, it's all going to be free. So there's a lot of freedom that comes into it. It's still the same thing that I'm so passionate about. Everybody that listens knows I'm really, really passionate about LSU, and I care, and I feel like I've got a pretty strong background in all 3 sports that we cover for the most part here. I still looking very much forward to 2 hours a day on radio, but getting to press conferences, doing some written things, I think is going to be really enjoyable as well.
Yeah, I don't want there to be any misconceptions. There's nothing changing with the radio station. We are all still going to continue with our radio lineup. We're just looking forward to adding a written content piece to what we do for the Louisiana sports fan to be able to cover the Saints and the Tigers and the Pelicans and preps and recruiting and all that sort of stuff.
And I think to better answer your question as far as what's a little bit different, as you know, like numbers don't play great on radio often because people are driving around and they can't see what you're looking at, and all of a sudden it kind of gets scrambled in there. But I like numbers and I like statistics, and I like to put things in front of people that maybe they don't get to see just by watching the game, and that's not conveyed as easily in audio form. But as far as kind of putting together charts and comparing numbers and doing those types of things, sometimes that's easily digestible by print, and that's something that I'll definitely be doing a lot of on the site.
If you go to LouisianaSports.net right now, you're not going to find anything.
You will not.
Just an FYI. The site is not live. But like I mentioned, we're going through punch list. I'm really, really, really excited because this has been a lot of work. This has been a lot of work building and launching this and getting to the point where we could be here ready to announce it. And I'm really excited about what this is gonna hold for the Louisiana sports fan, another way to bring people the content that they want every single day. And I think we got a great team and staff that we're building. You were out at LSU practice today. I'll pivot a little bit here. So, by the way, we will announce a go-live date. I'm not going to tell you what a go-live date is until we have the absolute ready go-live date, but we wanted a soft launch and a rollout right now. Our social media accounts are already created and everything like that, but there's nothing on them. We will have, it'll all be populated when it's ready, and we'll tell you when it's go live. But this was sort of a soft rollout and launch. It coincided, of course, with the start of LSU fall camp, and we were ready to make this announcement because we got all our contracts done and everything on Friday. So, like, we're signed, sealed, delivered, ready to go. We're just getting through the punch list, and then we'll be live. But what did big takeaways from today out of camp?
I was interested that Javian Toviano was out there. I did not expect that, and I said this on my show a little bit earlier. Like, I saw a 25 out there, and I pulled up my roster, and I saw Javian Toviano and Trey Holly. Well, that's not Trey Holly, and I did not expect Javian Toviano to be here.
Bad offseason for the 25s.
Yeah, exactly. So, but he was out there. I said the first thing I was going to look for when I went out there was Zy Alexander's health. It was very evident last year when we went out for the first practice. Armani Goodwin was nowhere close to being ready to go. He had a huge brace on his knee, and he was going through the drills, and he was laboring and limping, and we know that he never was able to contribute last year. I don't know that this is anywhere near that situation because I didn't see Alexander run around, and it sounds like he's doing well and progressing, but he had that brace on his knee, and he wasn't able to go out there and participate, so that was interesting.
Brian Kelly did say after practice he has no limitations. He's 100% go. They were just whenever he feels comfortable to run out there and plant and do all the things you have to do, but they said from a medical perspective, there are no limitations on Zy Alexander.
And that's good news. And the other kind of big takeaway that I had, and keep in mind, we all understand this is one practice, and the one-on-one drills are they're kind of slanted towards one side or the other. So I'm not trying to talk about this guy's going to be first-team All-American, first-team All-SEC, but I did enjoy what I saw from Gabe Relaford today in the one-on-one pass rush drills. You were over watching some 11-on-11 and 7-on-7, a lot more offense. I was looking at the defense, and Gabe Relaford beat Ethan Callaway and Weston Davis pretty much with ease, two guys in his class. They kind of graduated him up to see what he could do against Tyree Adams, who's the second-team left tackle, and he had a great rep there as well. We know that they're looking for anybody to come onto that defensive front and hold their own. More so at tackle, and there are a lot of good veteran ends, but I think they're excited about Gabe Relaford. I think that was a big get for them from Texas A&M, and he really did a good job in the 3 bursts that I saw today.
I think they're going to be really good, actually, at defensive end. I think with Savion Jones, Braden Swinson wasn't there today. Right. That was a newsworthy item. But with Parrish Shand, with Deshaun Womack, with Gabe Relaford, Kalaj Cobbins, I think it's not just serviceable. I think they're good at defensive end. They will have really good players there. Interior tackle is going to be a giant question. We know the Harold Perkins position move is a giant question. What corners can establish themselves. But I was really encouraged by the fact that the defense in the 11-on-11 and 7-on-7s today, the defense made plays. Like, it wasn't just a total whitewashing like it was a year ago. It was much more – it felt like much more of a fair fight.
It did. I didn't see nearly as much as you did. I think we may switch roles tomorrow, and I may look at a little bit more of that. But last year was a little bit jarring. And, I mean, I picked Florida State to win the game in the opener. I said, I don't think they can cover anybody. And that ended up happening. But no one could have foreseen what we were about to see, even though it was as bad as it was, because we're just not conditioned to that. And to your point today, it was a lot better from a defensive perspective.
Yeah. Hunt Palmer, of course, catch the Hunt Palmer Show weekdays from 1 to 3, our lead-in here on AFR in Baton Rouge, but also now part of our team on LouisianaSports.net. So you can go to the website now, and you can bookmark it, and I would encourage you to do that and follow all of our social media accounts. And whenever we are ready to push go live and have all our content on there, we'll tell you when that day is coming. But it'll certainly be before LSU and USC kickoff in Las Vegas, and Hunt will be anchoring all of our LSU coverage, so we're looking forward to it, man.
I'm very, very much looking forward to it. Thanks, Matt.
I bet you are, Hunt Palmer. You are. Just throwing you lifelines your whole career.
I'm going to go catch a beer.
Even though you bailed on me years ago on AFR, Hunt Palmer. Hunt used to be a weekly guest on AFR, and then he bailed on us for the morning show. I tell you what.
There were reasons for that. We don't have to get into
it. It's after further review. We'll continue. Stick around.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Duplessis Builders. Man, when it's 100 degrees outside and you're spending time outside in the summer, I cannot imagine, and I never will again, own a home without a pool. If you don't have a pool and you'd love to build one, you need Duplessis Builders. Exceptional craftsmanship. Derek Duplessis, I've told you before, mechanical engineering degree from LSU with a minor in aerospace engineering. He was working as an engineer for years, pivoted in his career when his sister wanted a pool. He said, I think I can do that. Built 8 pools that first year, built more than 60 pools in his second year. Now they're the fastest-growing pool builder in the greater Baton Rouge area. DuplessisBuilders.net. I love the quote from Gucci. Quality is remembered long after price is forgotten. That's Duplessis Builders. DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. They do remodels and renovations as well. It's Duplessis Builders. Check them out online at DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless
after further review with Matt Moscona.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us here from Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Y'all come hang out. It's our 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and LouisianaSports.net launch party. We'll have tons of clients coming. We look forward to it. But inviting everybody to come out. By the way, our friend Michelle Southern from Eagle 98.1, she's going to be here, and she's going to have a stack of tickets to see Cowboy Mouth next Friday at the Texas Club. The only way you can get them is if you come here and ask Michelle to give you a pair of tickets. So we'll see y'all here. They got great deals as well. Small plates for $10.45, hence 104.5. The lamb lollipops, the smoked chicken wings, the hummus duo, the charcuterie board. There's great drink specials, half off wine by the glass, half off specialty cocktails, $5 local draft beer. So come hang out with us here at Tallulah. Make dinner plans. Come hang out with us tonight. Hunt's here, Gordy's here, our staff will be here. So we look forward to seeing everybody here at Tallulah tonight at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet. LSU Day 1 fall camp. Afterwards, Brian Kelly met with reporters, and naturally, given the fact that LSU a year ago was 118th in the country in passing yards allowed, the DBs were going to be a major talking point. And as I went through my practice report, I told you there were some wins for the LSU defensive backs. LSU had 4 interceptions in the 7-on-7 periods. Harold Perkins had an interception. Kylan Jackson, Ashton Stamps, P.J. Woodland. And by the way, Bernard Causey dropped an interception, so it was almost 5 interceptions on the day. Your DBs made plays. And I'm going to tell you, I joked with one of the sports information staff members. I said, who's more vulgar, Brad Davis or Corey Raymond? Those two guys, let them fly. And they have high expectations for their players. I'm going to tell you, in the second 7-on-7, so the first thing we got to see was 11-on-11. And then later then they did individuals. Then they went to a 7-on-7, more individuals. Then went back and did more 7-on-7, which was the last thing we got to see. And in that last 7-on-7 period, I stood like almost behind the secondary, and Corey Raymond was in the back. Like, so imagine if the offense was starting at midfield and they were playing half a field. Corey Raymond was like at the goal line, right behind his secondary. That was the view he wanted. And I'm gonna tell you, it was a relentless verbal barrage today by Corey Raymond. Not in an insulting way, but in an, I'm going to push you. I don't care that it's day one. I'm going to push you to every length you can. There was a point where Michael Turner, freshman defensive back, was guarding Kyron Lacey. I don't know why. It's just the way the rotation was going. This was in 7-on-7. But Michael Turner ended up guarding Kyron Lacey, and Lacey had a great catch, high-pointed a ball on the right sideline. And Corey Raymond yells at Turner, like, welcome to college football, get your behind in the weight room, in a very, very aggressive way. Let's put it that way. Ashton Stamps, Raymond was all over him about not coming out for a rep, staying in there, getting in shape. I mean, it was just that kind of thing, and I think it just spoke to it reminded me because Brandon Taylor was with us yesterday on the show, and he talked about the attitude, the mentality, and the intangibles. I don't love to harp on intangibles because you have to have a physical ability, but so much I think of this team was just wrecked mentally a year ago, those DBs, and they have to be taught a different way, and Corey Raymond is certainly doing that now. Good news that Brian Kelly shared was about Zy Alexander, who was your best defensive back a year ago, tore his ACL, was out there today but didn't participate in any of the drills. Here was BK on Zy Alexander.
He's been cleared for everything. But I think it's similar to John Emery, right? I mean, John's cleared for everything. But when you have a knee, you need to experience some things like getting tripped up in the hole or cutting off of it and feeling the scar tissue and going, oh my goodness, that's what that feels like. So I think Alexander's got to go through, planting and cutting and feeling that. And so he's full go, but he's in that process of getting back into football activities. And that sometimes takes some time before you feel real comfortable.
As soon as we see Zy Alexander taking reps. Of course, we'll talk about it here and let you know how that looks. In the meantime, today your first-team cornerbacks, day one, were Sage Ryan and Ashton Stamps. That's notable because in spring, Sage Ryan took every rep at safety. I asked Brian Kelly at SEC Media Days when I had my one-on-one with him about Sage Ryan and if he was sticking at safety, and he didn't say that they had made any decision, and clearly he was being truthful because day one, Sage Ryan was taking every rep at cornerback. Here was Brian Kelly after practice on Sage Ryan.
Yeah, we're cross-training him. You know, we got a lot of work. You know, certainly he played corner for us last year, as you know. We wanted the entire spring to be safety, and now we're going to begin that cross-training. So we feel like he'll become, you know, that one player that can play both positions for us.
It'll be interesting to see where he falls. It's worth noting that while Sage Ryan was playing corner, the starting safeties day one back there were Jordan Gilbert and Jordan Allen. Those were your starting safeties. And, of course, Major Burns is playing that star position. That's something we're going to have to get accustomed to, talking about in Blake Baker's defense. Your second corners were P.J. Woodland and J.K. Johnson, both who had nice moments. P.J. Woodland had an interception. He had a great pass breakup as well. There was a really nice play by J.K. Johnson against Kyle Parker where J.K. Johnson pinned Kyle Parker on the sideline and forced an incomplete pass. I'm telling you that the DBs made some nice plays today. Like, get it. It was day one. I'm not trying to overreact to it, but a year ago, day one was so overwhelming in favor of the offense, and it just never got better for the defense. It was more of a fair fight day one. So that's going to be interesting to watch, and I'm sure the defense will have good days and the offense will have really good days. But it was nice to see the defense go make plays. Now, P.J. Woodland made some of them. And as a result, and he was a guy who was taking reps with the ones in spring, Brian Kelly was asked about P.J. Woodland here day one.
We like PJ, and we love his competitiveness. But if you remember, he made a great play, and then the next play, we threw the ball over his head, if you remember that. With young players, we're looking for consistency, and he has got a huge upside, and he's going to be a really good player in the SEC. But in the SEC, you make one play, they're coming right back at you, and they're going to test you. So we've got to test the mettle of our young players, and we've got to see consistency of performance, and it'll be about his consistency or Ashton Stamps' consistency or Sage or whoever we roll out there, and that's kind of what we'll be looking for with a lot of our younger players.
By the way, the sequence Brian Kelly talked about there where he made the nice play and then they went over his head, it was the last two plays of the final 7-on-7 period. I told you we got to see an 11-on-11 period and then two 7-on-7 periods. And let's see, in that last 7-on-7 period, Nuss ran 6 reps, Ricky Collins ran 4, Nuss was back in for 2, A.J. Swan had 4, and then Colin Hurley got 3 plays. And the final 2 plays, the first play, it was a deep ball to Xavion Thomas down the right sideline, and P.J. Woodland came up with a great pass breakup. It was right in front of Corey Raymond, too. The very next play, it was Kylan Billiot, who's wearing number 82, the freshman. Kylan Billiot, from Terrebonne, went deep down the middle and just burned right past P.J. Woodland and Joel Rogers, who was playing safety, and they went over the top and for a touchdown on the final play. So that's what Kelly's talking about, is developing some of the consistency there, where you saw some really good plays by P.J. Woodland. You also saw some not great plays. So day one, but if I had one gigantic, exhale takeaway, it was the defense made plays, which they didn't do at all, ever, last year. And they made plenty of them day one. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on this Thursday edition of AFR, brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. I think my buddy Brandon Holly is going to be here later today. I'm excited to see him, man. Brandon and Adrian have not only been, obviously sponsors of the show, but, God, they've been great friends for a lot of years. That's one of the reasons I love telling you about Relief Windows. And when Brandon says, look, yes, it's windows, doors, siding, outdoor shutters as well, but their number one product is customer satisfaction. It's not lip service. I mean, the stories that I've heard from Brandon over the years of the way that they go above and beyond for their customers. I mean, they never take $1 until they're done with the work and you're thrilled. They take all the risk. I mean, Who does that? Who doesn't take a deposit? What contractor doesn't take a down payment? It's Relief Windows. Call them 288-8138, 288-8138, or go to reliefwindows.com. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah. They do indoor shutters as well, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. If you're just joining us, we're here at Tallulah. We made our big announcement just a bit ago. LouisianaSports.net is coming soon. To complement the audio piece here at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, the video piece that we offer as well across so many platforms, we will now have a written platform as well for your content. There will be no paywall. It will be free. Hunt Palmer will anchor our LSU coverage. We've hired Ross Jackson to be our New Orleans Saints beat writer and columnist. And our buddy Chris Marler, who spent a lot of years with Saturday Down South, who many people know from his SEC coverage. We've hired Chris as well, and he's going to manage our SEC coverage for the site as well, and also a lot of different things in the interim. So we're excited to have Marler on board, and we're going to talk to him about joining us as well when we come back. We're here at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Yeah, we got a lot still to come with respect to fall camp. I want to talk a lot about what Brian Kelly had to say. I got to get into the defensive line, some of that rotation, which BK talked about, some of the injuries. He did talk about the running backs and how they're handling a guy like John Emery coming off the injury, and a guy like Josh Williams, who they know what they have in a veteran player like that, and two players entering their 6th seasons of college football, but they're treating very differently here in this fall camp. So a ton. I told you we are just so deep today on just LSU football with the Saints having the day off. But we'll get into plenty more about LSU fall camp day 1 as we continue here. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll continue. Chris Marler will join us next on AFR.
AFR.
Hey, make sure you get by and see our friends over at Clegg's Nursery. I know I mention it, gosh darn near every day, but if you don't follow Clegg's on Facebook, you should, because every time they get a new shipment, they're so great about posting their new inventory on Facebook so you can see what they have. I told you yesterday it was their new tomato plants that they've got in. So if you're a green thumb, like this is the time you need to get by and plant these very specific tomato plants. Tomato plants over at Clegg's Nursery. Big difference. But also, all the unwanted pests at times in and around your outdoor space, Clegg's has something for those as well. I've told you about the Aeon mosquito barrier. You want to be done with mosquitoes 90 days at a time for less than $30? Go pick up the Aeon mosquito barrier at Clegg's Nursery. It's easy. Size of a track baton, granules in it, fill it to the fill line, shake it up, hang it on your property line. You're done with mosquitoes 90 days at a time. I'm telling you, it works. I use it at my house. You can find it at Clegg's Nursery. So buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
All right, glad to have you rolling along with us here from Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel. Y'all come on and join us tonight, man. If you're looking for something to do, show ends at 6, but our event for LouisianaSports.net, our launch party runs 5 to 7. There's going to be live music here. They've got the bar set up here in the lobby outside Tallulah. If you want to come have dinner, you can. They got some great drink specials as well, half off wine by the glass, half off specialty cocktails, $5 local draft beer. They got small plates as well for $10.45. 1045, of course. Lamb lollipop, smoked chicken wings, the hummus duo, the charcuterie board. Our friend Natalie Noel from Noel Family Distillery, she's going to be here as well with complimentary craft cocktails, and they're also going to have complimentary light bites as well. So come on by, have a snack, have a drink, talk to our staff. Hunt's here, just showed up. Gordy's here, Flynn Foster's here. So we got a great night, and we're looking forward to seeing a lot of people here this evening. So come on by Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet. We are here for the LouisianaSports.net launch party. I got to keep reminding you, the website's not live yet. We will have a go-live date before LSU kicks off the season, obviously, against USC on September the 1st out in Las Vegas. But this was our big rollout of the announcement that this is coming, and we're excited about it. Hunt Palmer is going to be our primary LSU source for coverage. We've hired Ross Jackson for our Saints coverage. We've hired Chris Marler, who is, many of you, if you're an SEC fan, you know the website Saturday Down South. And Chris was one of the driving forces behind building Saturday Down South into what it has become, and, of course, across all its social channels. So it was a real win for us to be able to steal Chris onto our team, and we've had a ramp up to now with him. But he'll be handling a lot of our social media content and a lot of our SEC content at LouisianaSports.net. Marler joins us now. How are you, dude?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well. I know you've been under the weather, man, so I'm glad you were able to take a few minutes to jump aboard with us here. Hey, for someone who has spent as much time as you have covering the league as a whole for a regional platform that many people know, what was appealing about joining us for this project?
I think that one of the things that, it's always nice to be in a situation where I think that, like, the growth of something is built upon, like, wanting to have the resources behind it. And I think that that's one of the things that you guys have done a really good job of in previous stops and everything like that. And the other part too is it's like just the sheer amount of talent. You, T-Bob, Hester, Hunt, all those guys. It's been a lot of fun watching you guys over the last several years, and to be a part of that. I think it's rare to have that much. For lack of better words, like that, and I will go to your head, Matt, but I mean, like star power at one spot. The other thing is, I also want to make sure that all of my friends and family that I try to disassociate with in the state of Alabama will not be coming around Thanksgiving and Christmas time, because as of right now, they hold a lot of disdain towards you.
I've heard that. Alabama fans aren't happy with me, but Auburn fans love me now. I'm a big guy in Auburn circles. You know what's interesting about it too, Marler, is at the beginning of the college football season this past year, Florida State fans hated me because I said LSU's receivers were better. I said neither of Florida State's receivers could start at LSU, which, lo and behold, LSU had 2 first-round picks, right? Like, it proved true. Well, then by the end of the season, there was no bigger lobbyist for pro Florida State getting in the playoff. So we came full circle, and I was like the champion of Florida State fans. That moment is going to happen, I think, for Bama eventually, where they all hate me now, and eventually there's going to be some type of heel turn where they all love me. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I feel it coming.
Okay. Hot take, it's not. Because what you just said even is the Florida State thing, Florida State making the playoff. Listen, I fully think that Florida State should have made the playoff last year if they went undefeated in the Power 5 conference. But if they would have made it, it would have been at the expense of a 12-1 Bama team. So just you saying that alone as why you became okay with Florida State circles again, that alone is still somehow a dig at Bama. So it's like, I mean, you just keep digging further and down, man.
I can live with it. Hey, what do you think is going to be interesting? Because obviously we are our website is going to be called LouisianaSports.net. But I think what our goal is to serve the sports fan in this state. And yes, we'd love the Saints and the Tigers and the Pelicans and all the state schools and preps and recruiting and everything. But people here have a very keen interest in the SEC as well, very obviously, which is why this is a sector we wanted to serve. What do you think are the things in covering sort of the league as a whole, as you'll be doing, that are going to be most interesting for you to be able to show and deliver to our audience in the state?
You know, the easiest answer is probably just we're launching it like in a year where we're already having expansion within the league. So that alone has been something that's like dominated the offseason storyline. I think the other part of it too is that I think that somehow adding those two teams, it is going to show like on a national scale how difficult it's been year in, year out to compete in this league. And I think that like what you will see is it's like football season obviously is going to be, you know, like prime viewership and all that kind of stuff. Like, and it's what dominates, I feel like, the headlines and a lot of SEC fans. But the one thing that's unique, I feel like, especially in the state of Louisiana, is you're talking about year-round sports that are relevant, like in a myriad of different ways and in a myriad of different schools. And so I think that's one thing I'm really excited about, is talking about SEC baseball. SEC basketball is going to pick up men's and women's basketball, right? It's become a conference that, like, dominated, you know, whether it's just the draft or college football or even, you know, last year with Bama going to the Final Four. Like, it will be a year-round thing with multiple sports across college campuses around the SEC that we'll be able to cover and do so at a really good, you know, at a really high level.
He's on Twitter at Vern Funquist CFB. I know a lot of you have followed his Twitter account over the years. It's a different handle now for reasons we've explained, but it's at VERN, no E, at VERN Funquist CFB. Make sure you give Chris Marler a follow. He'll be handling all of our SEC coverage for Louisiana Sports.net. We're fired up for that. Hey, give me a quick flyover. What are some of the biggest SEC fall camp storylines that you think are worth keeping an eye on here over the next couple of weeks?
So I think one of the things, especially in the SEC, the depth at quarterback is really, really deep, and like it's not just the you know the phrase I already used, star power. It's not even just like the top guys, talking about Beck and Noro and Dart and guys like that, but I mean like guys like Nuss and Nico, and like we don't talk at all about Graham Mertz. That's the season he had.
You didn't mention Quinn Ewers.
I did not mention Quinn Ewers, and like listen, that's how people forget. It's like one of the top, like I think 6 or 7 highest rated recruits in the history of like recruiting services. So it's like there is some incredible talent at that position. The other thing is too, and this is something I worked on for an article that'll be up here on the site, you know, pretty soon, is that the improvement at several key spots and key positions and position units, like, you know, the secondary at LSU, the offensive line at Bama, and some of these, like, I think we all look at stuff from like a year ago and always think that like, oh, you know what, there's a confirmation bias in what we think we're going to see. I think that you're going to see an elevated league for so many different teams that are going to be relevant this year. And I really do think that, like, this might be the deepest the conference has, not just because we've added Texas and Oklahoma, but it might be the deepest the conference has been in maybe the last, you know, maybe easily in the last decade, maybe going back to that 2007 type season as well. I think it's going to be a very, very competitive league.
How many – I asked everybody this at Media Days, and the audience knows because I asked they've literally heard me ask everybody I've interviewed this question. How many playoff teams do you think the league gets?
11. No. No, I mean, like, I tell you, the thing that is going to be very concerning for a lot of SEC fans, and I've praised the conference, endlessly, but like the idea that they're going to just get 4 and 5 like teams every year is not real. We're going into a 12-team playoff. None of us have seen how that's going to play out. You got to remember, there's a G5 team that's going to get an automatic bid. You're going to like SEC fans need to prepare themselves to watch a bottleneck happen at 10-2.
Yes.
Where you have, Georgia, Texas, maybe they go 11-1, and then you got Ole Miss, Mizzou, Bama, LSU, Tennessee, teams like that are 10-2, 9-3 probably for Bama, but like one of those teams is going to go 10-2 in what is undoubtedly the toughest conference in the country, and they are not going to get a spot in the playoff because Kansas State went 9-3 in the Big 12. And I think that 4 teams get in this year because they're going to be really good.
Okay.
But the idea that they're just going to, insert 4 to 6 teams in every single year because that's what could have happened, and the BCS and additional CFR, I think that's a fool's errand, as you would say.
He's Chris Marler on Twitter at Vern Funquist CFB, VERN Funquist CFB. Y'all give him a follow. Chris is part of our staff at LouisianaSports.net. He'll be anchoring all of our SEC coverage, handling our social medias as well. It comes to us from Saturday Down South, where he was for a long time, and he'll build that into what it has become, a giant part of that, and we're counting on him to help us do the same with LouisianaSports.net. Hey, we're looking forward to a great run, man, and we appreciate a couple of minutes today. Feel better.
Absolutely, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, be well. Brought to you by Supper Club. Of course, if you need dinner plans, man, Supper Club. Oh, boy. I don't know that there is a better spot. There isn't a better spot in Baton Rouge. There's not a better spot in Louisiana, and quite honestly, there are few, if any, better spots in America when we start to talk about some of the specifics, the specific offerings that they have at Supper Club, like the Japanese Omi beef, OHMI. This Japanese Omi beef comes from a farm in Japan that's 400 years old. They used to feed this beef to samurai because they thought it had magical powers. It's the preferred meal for the Emperor of Japan. And the only place that you can get it in the state, and one of only a handful in the United States of America, is at Supper Club in Baton Rouge. That's just what Brandon Landry has gone to those lengths, he and Mackenzie, to build something sort of as a gift to this community and to this state, to say, look, you don't have to get on a plane and go to the UAE or Paris to have this type of meal. You can have it on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge. It's Supper Club. Hey, by the way, they're already taking reservations for Christmas and holiday parties. If you want the private room, or if you want to rent the entire building, you can do it, but it's going to book up, so make sure you call now or start at the website at supperclubbtr.com. Supperclubbtr.com. Supper Club. All right, it's after further review. Man, thrilled to have you aboard with us. Place is filling up over here at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel, where we're hanging out for our LouisianaSports.net launch party. Thanks to Nathaniel and Allison, who rolled out the red carpet for us here today at the Renaissance. They've been great partners of ours. So if you're heading home from work, pull on into here. There's a ton going on. We'll be rolling till 7. They'll have live music even beyond that. Great drink and food specials tonight. And as soon as I get off air, we're going to hang for a bit, and it's already starting to fill up. So come hang out with us here at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. We'll wrap up hour number 2 with Tigers and the Pros. Muse will do the honors when we return on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Glow Resources. Of course, Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. I tell you every day, but if you're a business owner, if you're the HR manager, if you're the operations manager, if you're in charge of hiring, and you keep running into brick walls, you find it hard to find those employees for not only the hard-to-find roles, hard-to-fill roles, but hard to find employees that show up on time, that show up consistently, that are productive. Let Glow Resources help. Over the course of a year, Glow Resources will interview some 15,000 job candidates. They know the right questions to ask. They know how to vet the candidates for the job that you're trying to fill, and they find the right person the first time, saving you time and money. They have a 93% retention rate at Glow Resources. Stop guessing. Trust Glow Resources. GlowResources.com, online at glowresources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further. like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jahri and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
On their day off, the Saints have added a familiar face at wide receiver. We'll get to that here in just a quick second. Right now, Musso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, we'll start with Jake Fraley. This game was in progress and didn't wrap up until after we finished the show yesterday. The Reds took it on the chin to the Cubs. But Fraley, 1 for 3, 3-run homer in the ball game. His third home run of the season, RBIs, number 17, 18, and 19 for Jake. Got the start in right field and contributed the big blast. Trey Morgan, another productive day over in AA for Bowling Green. 2 for 4, both of them singles. One of them did drive in a run, and he would come around to score on both, hitting .366. And I'm still wondering why he's toiling away in, single high A baseball when he should very well be getting a call up. They're wasting him. Moving on, a big win for Jordan Thompson and the Great Lakes Loons, one of the best mascots we'll mention here in this segment. Thompson got the start at second base. Went 1 for 1 in the game. It was a single. He would come around to score twice in the ball game, though, as well, as he continues his a great first full season in minor league baseball. Eric Razelman picked up save number 2 on the season in AA. 1 inning of relief, no hits, did walk a guy, but struck out 2. 2 saves and an ERA just under 2.9 for Razelman. And we will wrap it up Actually, we'll wrap it up with Dylan Cruz. Pardon me. Rough day for Dylan. 0 for 4 with the collar there for Rochester Red Wings. Hitting about 252 on the year. But as Paul and I have kind of been talking about a little off mic, the Nationals have been making a few moves at the trade deadline in their outfield. We'll see if that doesn't lead to a late season call-up for Dylan Cruz. That is Tigers in the Pros.
Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. South Point, the summer sales event, is going on right now. How about a 2024 Jetta for 2.9% APR for 60 months? Great deals. And remember, I keep telling you about this, the ID Buzz is coming very soon. That's the electric Volkswagen bus. They're only going to get 7. There will only be 7 of those at South Point Volkswagen. So you want it, reserve it now, southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Saints, we're going to talk to Ross Jackson here in a smidge. As we mentioned, we're here at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel for our LouisianaSports.net launch party. This is the announcement launch. The website is not live. We're still going through the punch list, and as soon as we're done with that punch list, it'll be live, and we'll tell you the go-live date. But Ross is joining us as our Saints reporter, and we're very excited about that. But the Saints have added a familiar face. Marquez Callaway is joining the New Orleans Saints. Cedric Wilson, Equinemius St. Brown, Bub Means all missed practice on Wednesday with injuries. And so the Saints kind of needed to restock, and Callaway's now back for his 3rd stint in New Orleans. He'd previously been, after leaving New Orleans, he was a rookie free agent out of Tennessee. I thought the world of him coming out of Tennessee. Thought he would make the team. He did. Great undrafted free agent at nearly 700 yards receiving back in 2021 when he followed Sean Payton to Denver, tried out for Pittsburgh, also was with time with the Raiders as well. But it's a guy that knows the Saints know him, and they'll bring him back here to see if might be able to win one of those roster spots. It is concerning for New Orleans. I mean, you know what you got in Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, but after that, I mean, Dennis Allen's been pretty adamant that A.T. Perry has to do more. Bub Means, the rookie. Cedric Wilson's injured. Equinemius St. Brown has never really been a very productive receiver in his NFL career. They need better options at receiver. If an undrafted rookie free agent out of Yale is the guy that you're counting on to be your guy, that speaks volumes about the state of your receiver room. But bringing back Marquez Callaway here, let's see if he might be able to make some hay, maybe make the team. So we'll see. Saints add Marquez Callaway here today on Thursday on their off day. Saints are back on the practice field on Friday, as are the LSU Tigers. So today was day 1, fall camp out at LSU. We opened the show today with giving you my full camp report. And I got plenty more in hour number 3 that I want to talk about, more from Brian Kelly, including about the running back position. Is John Emery full speed? You have 2 sixth-year running backs in John Emery and Josh Williams, but both, as Brian Kelly said, they're taking very different approaches to how they're using them here in this fall camp. We're going to get into that here in hour number 3. But when we come back after Sports Center, Ross Jackson, even though it's a day off for the Saints, I can ask Ross about Marquez Callaway, but more importantly, I want to talk to Ross about joining our team here at LouisianaSports.net. Hour 3 is next.
AFR.
I don't know if you noticed, but there's a storm in the Gulf. It's set to make landfall coming this weekend, quite possibly as a hurricane or tropical storm. Y'all, when we live here, it's only a matter of time. And when storms come and disrupt our lives, one of the things that happens is it knocks the power out. When the power's out, we all know what that's like. You're waiting in long lines for gas to power those the gas generators. You're waiting in long lines for ice. Your entire life is disrupted. What if when the power went out, boom, within seconds, everything in your home was working? That's the reality for folks with a Generac automatic home standby generator. That's me. It was worth it after I had to bite the bullet and do it, and we did it. I'm telling you, Optimize is the best. GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Nobody sells and maintains more Generac automatic home standby generators in Louisiana than Optimize. You want the best? Go to GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. At the Olympics today, silver for the U.S. in the women's 4x200 free relay. That's another medal for Katie Ledecky, her 13th. She's now the most decorated U.S. woman in Olympic history. In the women's gymnastics all-around, Simone Biles wins gold. That's the most for any American gymnast. She has 6 now, and her U.S. teammate Suni Lee gets the bronze. The U.S. men's basketball team is into the quarters after 2 wins, and ESPN's Brian Windhorst says head coach Steve Kerr has one message for his team.
This is not the NBA. This is not the soap opera. This is not drama. What we have here is a chance to win a gold medal over the course of 2.5 weeks. There's only a chance of 6 possible games, and he's going to change his lineup whoever fits the best in those each individual games. He's not going to care if a player gets upset.
Brian Windhorst, the U.S. women's team advances to the quarters today with a win over Belgium. Angels outfielder Mike Trout will miss the rest of the season with a second meniscus tear in his left knee. He played only 29 games this season.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR from Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel right here on Bluebonnet. It is our LouisianaSports.net launch party, making the big announcement. It is our new venture. Made that announcement about an hour ago. Really fired up for it. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge launched 14 years ago. We've grown in the audio and video space, and the last frontier to conquer was the written word space. So over the last 9 months or so, Gordy sort of tasked me with trying to build this project, and excited that we're here today announcing our staff and what we have coming, and a go-live date is coming very, very soon as we tick off all the punch lists. So if you go to LouisianaSports.net right now, it's just a landing page. You're not going to find anything there yet, but you can bookmark it, because coming soon, it's going to be your spot for all your written content for the teams that you love here in the state of Louisiana, and we're so pumped. The guy you've heard on this show all throughout fall camp, Ross Jackson, who's out in Irvine, California. You know him from Locked On Saints. We were able to make a pitch and land Ross on our team as well. So Ross is going to be anchoring all of our Saints coverage for LouisianaSports.net. Ross is good enough to join us, even though it's a day off for Ross. I was like, hey, man, I'm going to give you a day off, and I still need you to come on the radio. How are you, man?
Oh, wonderful, man. Wonderful. Glad to be here with you. No sweat at all. It's not a day off if I'm not at least working a little bit. You know what I mean?
It makes sense. I think everybody knows the work that you do and has just such a tremendous amount of respect for what you've been able to do there on the Saints beat. When I reached out to you about this opportunity, why was it appealing?
I think the thing that was super appealing about it was beyond the excellent opportunity to be able to work with you, somebody that I've also admired for a long time. It was the idea of being able to create something new, fresh, and try to bring a unique perspective that we might be able to bring to Louisiana sports, and in fact that we will bring to Louisiana sports. I've written for a long time, Matt, and I love writing, but the thing that I love doing more than anything else is storytelling. And we don't get to do a lot of that in some of these other written workspaces where things are very, SEO driven and stuff like that. And so I love the idea of being able to land somewhere where there was going to be a way to be able to make sure that even with volume, we were bringing quality. And that was something that we both expressed to one another. Felt like such a natural fit as well, considering that I'm already a daily content producer. It just felt like the right opportunity at the right time, and especially to be able to bring it to one of the best fan bases in the world that cannot find enough content out there. I'm grateful that we'll be able to help provide more.
Yeah, one of the things that I know I mentioned earlier, I'll continue to stress, as long as I'm running this thing, there will never be a paywall. So we hope that's a differentiator. I know there's a lot of different models. There's a lot of different revenue models, and I'm not telling you that there's a right or a wrong way to do things, but it's one of the things that I as a consumer want is I want to be able to produce great quality content and give it to people for free, and then organically build it, and then have great relationships with a lot of businesses and advertisers. So I know that's another thing that we're looking forward to. Russ, as someone who does produce daily content, as you mentioned, with obviously the Locked On Saints podcast, how is it going to differ for the person that's already listening to you every day that starts to read you every day?
Yeah, I think the thing that's really great about the written word is that you can flesh out things a little bit more. You can go a little bit more in depth. As you know, numbers can be, terrible on radio and on audio, different platforms and things like that. You know what I mean? And so being able to do some of these deep dives, but not have to talk into the generalities of bottom third of the NFL. Let me instead show you exactly the percentages, exactly the raw numbers that back up everything that we're looking at. I'm somebody that believes very much in the marriage of analyzing the game of football, both through film study and analytics. And sometimes through audio, you have to steer away from the analytics to not lose an audience. On the written side, you get to give all of that information. And more importantly, the consumer gets to take in all of that information, and then they become that much of a smarter, more passionate fan with that info. So that's always been my number one goal, is how do I have somebody read a piece and walk away smarter than before they read it. And this is going to give us the opportunity to be able to do that at a pretty impressive scale.
Yeah, I've told Ross and everybody that works with us, you have autonomy to create what you want. You know what the audience wants. You're representative of that audience, and go do it and be as creative as you want. So we're fired up to have you on board, man. I'm excited about our announcing our go live date when that does come, and look, you'll be out there in Irvine. I guess I have to get a question in about the Saints because they just signed Marquez Callaway. So what does it mean that they added Marquez Callaway today?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that they're in desperate need of more wide receivers. They just went out there without 3 of them on the field yesterday. Cedric Wilson Jr., Equanimeous St. Brown, Bub Means, all dealing with varying injuries, and because of that, they ended up having to go to a familiar face in Marquez Callaway to bring him back. And he's a guy that always has performed well in those training camp environments. I don't know how he adjusts to the system, but we'll certainly see. But I think that is a big piece of it. I would expect that this could mean that at least a couple of those wide receivers are expected to miss more time, which is a shame because that's a position that the New Orleans Saints really need somebody to step up in.
He's on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola. Give him a follow. Of course, make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Saints. He's giving you daily podcast content out there. And, of course, on YouTube as well, Locked On Saints. But very, very soon, you'll be able to read Ross every day at LouisianaSports.net. We're looking forward to it. Ross, we appreciate you, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for making time.
Absolute pleasure, buddy. Thanks for having me on. Talk to you soon.
All right, bud. That is Ross Jackson joining our team as our lead Saints writer for LouisianaSports.net. So if you missed it, Hunt Palmer, who's still going to be on radio with us every day, is going to be our lead LSU writer. We've added Chris Marler, formerly of Saturday Down South, great SEC and social media content creator, who's going to be our SEC lead. And Ross will be handling our Saints coverage as well, leading our Saints coverage. And there's a lot of people on our staff that are going to serve the Pelicans and the Louisiana college teams. And, of course, preps and recruiting. We're going to have all that covered. And it's going to be our idea is to build a staff in a place where it can be the place that every Louisiana sports fan can come to get the news, the information, and the opinions that they want in written form for free every day. So we're excited about it. And the team with so many great businesses as well. I mean, here at Tallulah, this place is getting packed. It's just after 5 o'clock. People are knocking off of work and stopping by, and we're going to get to meet a lot of these people who are going to be great partners of ours. So come on and join us here at Tallulah tonight. You don't have to be a business owner. If you just love sports and want to come hang out with us, come hang out here at Tallulah. They're going to have live music starting at 6 p.m. With Amber McCann. Our friend Natalie Noel from Noel Family Distillery, she's going to be here giving out free samples of craft cocktails with the Noel Spirits. There's a cool there's, by the way, complimentary light bites, but there's also a small plate special menu for $10.45, lamb lollipops, smoked chicken wings, hummus duo, charcuterie board. You can check that out. And great bar specials as well. Half off wine by the glass, half off specialty cocktails, $5 local draft beer. So come hang out with us tonight, man. If you haven't experienced Tallulah yet, great time to come check it out if you haven't. Here at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet. All right, y'all, it is after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. As you mentioned there, Marquez Callaway signs with the New Orleans Saints. But today, the headliner today was that the LSU Tigers hit the practice field for day one of year 3 of the Brian Kelly era. As we started the show today, I gave you my full LSU camp report. You can catch that on demand, audio or video, on our YouTube channel. Last hour we talked about with Hunt about some of his high points. I also talked about the secondary, as Brian Kelly talked about Zy Alexander and Sage Ryan, who's playing corner here day one. Young guys like P.J. Woodland, who had some really splash plays and some disappointing plays as well day one, as to be expected. But when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the running back position, because I, like many of you, have focused very heavily on Caleb Jackson and his opportunity here in year 2. And Brian Kelly took the opportunity after practice to instead highlight his 2 sixth-year players who they're taking very different approaches with here to start fall camp, and that's John Emery and Josh Williams. And we'll talk about that next as we continue here on a Thursday edition of AFR Live from Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel.
AFR.
Man, if you're buying or selling, commercial or residential, think real estate, think Darren James. I could spend 60 seconds telling you all the reasons Darren James is wonderful, but the truth is there is validation in numbers. And the Wall Street Journal puts out their Real Trends list every single year, and this is objective data. And in 2023, the numbers that just came out for 2023, Darren James was number 14 in America in the number, on the transaction side, the number of homes sold. Only 13 realtors in America had more transactions than Darren and none in Louisiana. He is the #1 real. Literally no realtor in this state sells more homes than Darren James. So why would you deal with anyone other than the best? 335-7666, 335-7666, or download the Darren James app as well. Think real estate? Think Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Hey, we're rolling along here, hour 3 from Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Thanks so much for being here with us. By the way, our friend Michelle Southern from Eagle 98.1 is here, and she's got tickets to Cowboy Mouth a week from Friday at the Texas Club. If you want a free pair of tickets, you have to come here and ask her. Do you have them with you? They're over there. Oh, yeah. So if you want tickets for Cowboy Mouth a week from Friday, you have to come here at Tallulah and ask Michelle to very graciously give you a pair of tickets to go see Cowboy Mouth. Freaking Fred LeBlanc. Cowboy Mouth gets me so fired up. You know what else gets me fired up? LSU Fall Camp. Day one on Thursday, and it was by Brian Kelly's own description, it was a really good, crisp day. He actually referenced Matt Mauck in his post-game press conference. I didn't see Matt Mauck out there, but Brian Kelly even said, when a guy like Matt Mauck comes up and tells you you look really good for day one, I don't think he would be blowing smoke. I mean, apparently Matt Mauck was there today. I didn't see it, but One of the things that struck me were the guys who had been injured participating. Zy Alexander and John Emery, notably, two of the players that suffered torn ACLs a year ago, and there were four. Of course, it was Emery and Zy Alexander. Logan Diggs suffered a torn ACL in the bowl game. And then Nathan Dybert as well, the place kicker, is coming off a torn ACL. So to see two guys in Emery and Zy Alexander who suffered those injuries in November to be ready day one of fall camp was very encouraging. But when Brian Kelly, after practice, talked about the running back position, he talked about both sixth-year players, Josh Williams and John Emery. And what's so interesting is that even though one of them is very healthy and one is coming off a torn ACL, they are approaching this fall camp with them both very differently and not in what would feel like the obvious way. Here's BK.
We wanted to put John in a position where the reps mattered, and mattered in the sense of he had to cut. He had to be stressed. He's cleared. So we wanted every rep that he got to be, maybe this is a bad analogy, but a high leverage rep. We didn't want him out there, just blocking or, taking a rep that didn't force him to put his foot in the ground and accelerate. Whereas on the other hand, we wanted Josh Williams to have some low leverage reps because we know what we're going to get from that young man. And then let the two younger players, Durham and Jackson, let those guys go after it and pick up the rest of the reps.
I certainly wouldn't have thought, if I said, hey, Brian Kelly after practice said one of those guys is going to take high leverage reps, I wouldn't think it was the guy that's coming off torn ACL. And then the other saying, we're going to take it a little easy on that guy because we know what he could do. I wouldn't think that would be Josh Williams. But Williams only had 55 rushing attempts a year ago for 284 yards. John Emery had 23 rushing attempts for 121 yards. I mentioned this already, but LSU is losing 74% of its rushing offense. Jaden Daniels, Logan Diggs, you are at Noah Kane. You're losing 74% of your rushing offense from a year ago. Trey Holly still TBD, but someone's going to have to emerge. Someone's going to have to be a bell cow for the first time in their career. And maybe it's going to be Josh Williams. My assumption all along is that it's Caleb Jackson, but that's not how Brian Kelly sounded. And when I went and looked at it, when the first team offense was out there, it was Josh Williams. The twos, they led with John Emery. And then after that, we saw Caleb Jackson and Caden Durham rotate in. The only real notable thing from Caden Durham on day one was that he dropped a screen pass in 7-on-7s. We saw the defense make some really nice plays on screen passes when both Josh Williams and John Emery caught balls. And Caleb Jackson, again, when they were running largely against air. But Caleb Jackson had, it looks like I charted one pass attempt at Caleb Jackson in 7-on-7s. So it wasn't a real busy day for the running backs offensively. But it was interesting to hear Brian Kelly lead with the veteran guys and not the young guy that I think we're all expecting is going to take the big step this year. So everything I talk about with this, though, I think we have to remember and take with a grain of salt and understand it's day one and they're not even in pads. But somebody this year at that running back spot is going to do something they've never done, and that's be a leading rusher. Josh Williams has been a really productive player in his career, but he's never had more than 97 rushing attempts in a season. John Emery has had some really explosive plays. He had a great game against Vanderbilt back in 2020. Obviously had the amazing touchdown against Alabama in Brian Kelly's first season. There's been those moments for John Emery, but we just haven't seen it, over a full season. Caleb Jackson's got 31 career rushing attempts. Caden Durham's a true freshman. Whoever is your guy this year is going to be doing it for the first time. So there is a degree of unknown. The great thing is that they're going to be running behind a really elite offensive line. The one question is DJ Chester at center. And you're returning 4 starters, including 2 projected first-round picks at offensive tackle. Well, Brian Kelly, not really concerned about DJ Chester replacing Charles Turner there at center?
Seamless transition in that there's 4 guys. That's the seamless transition because they can really prop up that center position because he's got 2 guards with him that are going to be able to pick up any issues that he may have in terms of communication. And so that's really our focus, and staying in the present is really getting that center position locked down for us.
We know who the guy is going to be, make no mistake, and it's DJ Chester. He's your starting center. What's interesting about DJ Chester when you go watch them and you put eyes on it, DJ Chester is 6'6", 322. Charles Turner last year was listed at 6'4", 300, and that 6'4" might be generous for Charles Turner. We haven't seen a center this big since Ethan Posick, who was 6'7". So it's atypical to have a guy that big, but you have some amazing beef on the interior of your offensive line with DJ Chester. Hunt referenced it earlier when he was with us. When they were running offensive line, defensive line one-on-one reps, DJ Chester had some really big wins, and maybe the rep that drew the biggest ire of Bo Davis was when DJ Chester stonewalled Sean Washington. Sean Washington's not a small guy. I mean, Washington, I need to pull up the roster here and look at the official height and weight, but Sean Washington is the guy who went to Warren Easton, then went to the University of Georgia, and then JUCO, and he's officially listed at 6'4", 298. So you're talking about a big dude who barely moved DJ Chester, stonewalled him in a one-on-one matchup. I'm just not worried about it. I think whatever LSU is going to be in their rushing offense, it's going to be in large part because you've got a great offensive line. And we know the tackles are great, and they're going to be great at pass blocking and keeping Garrett Nussmeier upright. But it's going to look different because you don't have a quarterback that's going to run for 1,100 yards. The offensive line is going to make that thing go, and I just don't know who that back is going to be. Does Josh Williams get 150 carries for the first time in his career? Maybe. Is Caleb Jackson the guy that proves with a handful of reps in those first few weeks you just can't justify keeping him off the field? Maybe. But that's going to be one thing that's worth watching as we continue to move through camp. But early on, it was very clear they're leaning on and the reps are going to the veteran players in John Emery and Josh Williams. Josh Williams was the number 1. Okay, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here as we're cruising through hour number 3. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. Get on by firstsouthland.com. That's the website, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. You know, so many people that buy land are already land owners. So sometimes you can use the equity in your current property to roll into that new property that you're looking to build. It's First South Farm, or that you're looking to buy. It's First South Farm Credit. It doesn't matter. Look, farmers know about First South Farm Credit because they've been helping, the farmers and agriculture since 1916. But what you may not know is if you're looking to buy that recreational property, that hunting property, if you're looking to buy 20 acres in Clinton or 20 acres on the on the North Shore, you live in New Orleans, you want to buy that acreage in Tangipahoa Parish, you could build your family's dream home and commute every day. First South Farm Credit can help you do it. So go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. One other thing from Brian Kelly, and I do have time here. We talked about this. I'm going to play number 14 if I can. We talked about this when LSU took the commitment from the linebacker out of Georgia, who flipped from South Carolina. And my feeling on that is that's a pretty good indicator of a shift in how you're building a roster. Because that's a guy that when you have 85 scholarships, maybe you don't take. But when you have 105 scholarships, now you got to add 20 more players because you're not going to watch Texas or Alabama or Florida have 105 scholarship players and you keep 85. So you're going to fill that roster. So maybe there's a player who wouldn't have made the cut on an 85-man roster that will make the cut on a 105-man roster. Well, Brian Kelly was asked about how the 105 scholarship impacts him. Here's what he said.
Where I think it impacts us the most is, what does your recruiting look like if you have to go to 105 for 2025? It means maybe you have to sign another 15 or 20 more players. And that's where it gets a little bit risky, right? I mean, we've been recruiting this 2025 class for quite some time. Do you all of a sudden start throwing out 30 more scholarship offers? I don't know that I'm comfortable doing that at this point, right? Because we've evaluated a lot of players and haven't offered scholarships to a number of players. So we have to be very intentional in how we do this. So the long answer to your question is, we haven't made a decision, but to sit here at 85, there's going to be a lot of schools in the SEC that are going to go to 105. So we have to be competitive as well. So we're going to have all, I would say, options vetted and be ready to move strategically when and if it gets to that final ruling by the courts.
I mean, to summarize, like, there's guys that you typically wouldn't offer that you have to take now because you're not going to let other schools in the league get a competitive advantage over you by having 105 scholarship players while you don't go to that number. So, yes, LSU's going to go to 105 scholarship players. How they get there, what that looks like, we'll all cross that bridge and find out together. But it's a fascinating and very interesting time in college football as rosters are going to expand. Okay. It's after further review. Let me knock out a break. We're here at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Live music starting up in 32 minutes. We're here for our LouisianaSports.net launch party. We're excited, man. We've built audio and video spaces and felt like we've done so much over these last 14 years in those spaces here at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and we're excited to announce LouisianaSports.net, which is coming soon. Hunt Palmer will be our lead on LSU. Ross Jackson we've hired to be our lead on Saints. Chris Marler is joining our staff as well. He helped build Saturday Down South, and he's going to help us with our SEC-centric content. And so many more people on our staff are going to contribute for Pelicans and Preps and recruiting. And we're excited to be able to bring that all to you totally free at LouisianaSports.net. So go bookmark it because our go-live date is coming very, very soon. All right. It is after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll continue here from Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Action Industries. Action, INC.com. Action Industries, a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Hey, look, if you're a maintenance manager, a turnaround coordinator in one of the 30-some-odd plants up and down the river that contributes so much to our state's economy, if you don't know the folks at Action Industries, you need to get to know them. So they're awesome people. They're a local business. And for as long as I've been alive, they've continued growing their business steadily by knowing who they are. Look, there's some amazing mega contractors. You know, these contractors that'll do $200 million jobs. That's not Action Industries. That's not who they are, and it's not who they want to be. But they know who they are. So if you maybe have hired one of those mega contractors for your 100-man job and feel like you're not getting their best, their undivided attention, you need Action Industries because that's their sweet spot. That's where they excel. They know who they are. Action, INC.com for Action Industries, a proud partner of LSU Athletics.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Hey, we continue here from Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Man, really cool after-work crowd building here. Come on and join us. Mentioned Michelle Southern from Eagle 98.1's here. She's got tickets for Cowboy Mouth a week from Friday. You want a pair of tickets, come on, ask Michelle. She'll hand them to you. And come enjoy a craft cocktail. They got a cash bar open. There's some complimentary beverages. Natalie Noel from Noel Family Distillery, she's going to be here in a bit with free craft cocktail sampling. There's small bites that are complimentary as well. So we're having a party as we launch LouisianaSports.net. So y'all come hang out with us. And the guy who gave me another job is now sitting to my right, Gordy Rush. What up, G?
Well, Matt, I'm excited. You and I have been working on this project too long. Really should have launched this about a year ago, but this day has come, so we're excited about LouisianaSports.net, and I'm very excited you're at the helm of this thing because you do great things.
Thanks, Gordy.
You do a great job.
Thanks, Gordy. Waited a long time to hear you say that. A nice thing from Gordy.
Well, hey, as you said, there were complimentary drinks, so I had one of them, so that's good.
That a boy. I don't blame you. I'll get to that at 6 o'clock. Hey, why you approached me about this really back last October about starting to formulate a plan for this. Why are we doing this?
Well, I think as we used to be in the radio business, we're in the content business, as you've demonstrated and done such a great job, and people are consuming their content in every way, shape, and form. And one of the great things that I think what we've done with this ESPN brand is given us an opportunity to network and make so many great relationships. You went up to New York and spoke at Barrett Sports Media, and a lot of the people that we have great relationships, run radio stations, run networks. And probably one of our best relationships is over in Phoenix, Arizona. They're an ESPN affiliate. They have a radio station called Arizona Sports. And they have a very successful radio station, ArizonaSports.com, or rather a website very similar to this. And when you look at it, the numbers that we're doing, what they're doing, and the success of that, it was a no-brainer that this was next for us.
Whenever you look at how, you talk about like how people consume, what sort of is the breakdown, right? About because we are content creators, but we know the audio space. We got into the video space. What about the written word?
I think written word's still very much, I think written word is very, very much still consumed. I think it's how do you have the vehicle to get it to them, one. And two, we live in an influencer economy. And who are the people that are writing it? A lot of people write clickbait, write a lot of stuff that doesn't necessarily push the needle. And what I'm excited about you in the network that we have, you get a guy like Hunt Palmer, who's already done it, well respected. Ross Jackson down in New Orleans. I mean, I followed him. He's done an incredible job. And I'm sure you've mentioned Chris Marler and what he did with Saturday Down South. I mean, and it just so you start with influencers that already have a track record.
Yeah.
That's a good recipe.
Yeah, we're excited about the team we built. A lot of our people on staff are going to be contributing writers as well. And no paywall, right, Gordy?
No paywall. That's a long discussion. You and I have talked about the paywall.
A long discussion for a lot of years.
And we're just a big believer. There's enough quality free stuff up there that we're just not fans of the paywall.
Yeah, so that's honestly one of the guys who is here tonight came up to me, and that was the first thing he asked. So is it going to be a free site? I was like, yeah. It's going to be a free site. So that's our hope, is that everybody bookmarks it, reads it every day, gives us feedback that we can take and continue to produce the content. It's one of the things I love about working at Guarantee is Guarantee is coming up on its 100th birthday.
Right.
And when you talk to our president, Flynn Foster, is here tonight, and it's never about how do we meet a 3-month quarterly earning. It's what's this going to look like in 3 years? How does Guarantee here for another 100 years?
Right.
What are the things that we can do that have staying power? And it gives us great freedom to produce content that people are going to want to receive and be a part of. Man, I think we've done that with our ESPN brand, and I'm looking forward to doing it as well with LouisianaSports.net.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think I've been with this company 26, 27 years.
Man, you're old.
I am old. I'm retired. How long you've been here? You've been here since
14 years.
14 years.
Yeah, February made 14 years. February 17th was day one of AFR.
In our business, you don't see that.
Yeah, it's true.
In other companies anymore, and I'm sure we're both in the same. I think have the same thought. I'd like to end my career at Guarantee. Yeah. And Flynn has been wonderful. He's given us a dry erase board to work with, and enabled you. Nobody sees this thing better than you do in this field, and we're excited.
Gordy Rush, what do you think about the Tigers? They won today.
They won today?
Day one today.
Oh, day one. I thought they
Day one.
I'm going to see day 3 and get out there. I'm interested. Sage Ryan went back over the cornerback position.
Yep.
I want to see what kind of improvement Corey Raymond has made over the summer working with those DBs.
Hey, Jim, I'm going to tell you this. I know you know Corey, and I know him a little bit. But he sat there in 7-on-7, like at the goal line, so behind his defense, right? It was a verbal, assault. Not in a bad way, right? But just making sure those guys knew it's a different day. It was a lot of tough love today from Corey.
Let me tell you.
A lot of tough love from Corey Raymond.
LSU's going to be aggressive on defense. Corey Raymond is going to play bump. They're going to play man free. I'm excited about that. I played with Corey, played with Bo Davis. And, Bo Davis is, we both know, is a Pete Jenkins guy.
Yeah.
And it didn't hit me till I sat down with Pete Jenkins at Missouri. And he kind of filled me in on the state of what was lacking, and they didn't have a defensive line coach as I came out afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see. I know it's thin up there, but Bo does a great job technique-wise.
To that point, that's his phone. Bo was looking. He's like, "What is that?" It's
I'm sorry about
Gordy's
that.
the only person that still uses a ringer on his phone. Gordy and my mother-in-law. You got people in their 70s.
Wow.
Wow. Right. No, but to your point, when I was watching some of the sled drills with the defensive line today, so Dominic McKinley, the big 5-star freshman, Bo Davis was working with him on hand placement.
That's right.
Every rep he took. It was, Dom, your hands are wide. Get him inside. You're too wide. Stay lower. Everything was all hand placement technique with Dominic McKinley, who's a giant, by the way. He's listed 6'6", 320. He is every bit of that, but he's raw. I mean, I had Dominic McKinley on when he signed, and his thing was I need to work on. He knew it. He's he needed to work on his technique. He's got the right guy to do it.
Yeah, it was interesting. After I talked with Pete Jenkins, I watched Mason Smith play a little bit, and Mason Smith was good for about the first two bumps off the line of scrimmage. Really, he had a good thrust, didn't put his hands in a good position. But you saw the breakdowns. You know, Pete was kind of teaching me the breakdowns. That's not going to happen. So they're going to play with better technique. It's about keeping what they have healthy this year.
How long are you hanging out here, man?
I'm going to hang out as long as you'd like. Well, definitely to 7 o'clock. How about that? We got to speak afterwards?
We got. Are we? You tell me.
That's what the memo said.
We got live music starting here in 18 minutes at Tallulah. We've got there's complimentary beverages and small bites. There is a small plates menu for $10.45.
I like that.
Like the 104.5. How about that?
That's good.
There are drink specials as well. If you want to come out, just have like dinner. You can sit here at Tallulah and have dinner. But Natalie Noel from Noel Family Distillery is going to be here with some complimentary craft cocktails. So y'all come join us, man. It's the 104.5 ESPN and LouisianaSports.net launch party at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. And Gordy's the one who's footing the bill for all this, right out of his bank account.
Absolutely.
We love it. Thank you, G.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Shaw Bills, Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. You know where to find them, locations all over South Louisiana. If you're hitting the road for that one final road trip this summer, before you do, make sure you take your vehicle to Shaw Bills. They offer the Charlie's Dozen. That's a dozen benefits to every vehicle in your home when you buy tires at Shaw Bills. Things like free tire rotations for the life of your tires, free alignments, the Charlie's Price Match Guarantee. You buy tires at Shaw Bills, you find them advertised cheaper, they'll refund you 125% of the difference. They're just going to get you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible, and they're going to treat you like family. It's at Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, we got one segment left to go. We do Ask Us, so if you want to ask us, you can ask us anything about anything. Me, Paulie Muse are back in studio. I don't know, maybe Gordy will hang out for Ask Us. Probably not, though.
No, not
really.
really.
No, not going to. Tito's and Cheetos are calling your name, probably.
I see some Cheetos over there right now.
How about that? You can go snack some. We'll do that to wrap up, and a little what we learned. Stick around with us here for our final segment on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel, the Renaissance Hotel, and we're here tonight at the Renaissance on Bluebonnet. If you want to come join us, feel free. It's a great spot. You've heard me talk for years now about Tallulah, and excited to get to show y'all, so many of you, Tallulah tonight who might be experiencing it for the first time. You know, Tallulah isn't just a hotel restaurant. I always say it's a casual, upscale dining experience. You know, if you want to come have their amazing pork chop, they have swordfish. The menu is exquisite. There's actually a group. They're a steak club.
Yeah.
They're trying. Allison, the marketing director here, was telling me they go to a different place. They're trying to dine at eat every steak in the city. Tonight, they're coming here to Tallulah. How about that? It's Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. You want to come have a great glass of whiskey. They got a great whiskey selection that Nathaniel Tannehill has curated over here. Craft cocktails, wine. It's an awesome experience to come hang out here at the Renaissance. LSU stays here the night before football games. It's good enough for Brian Kelly and the Tigers.
Absolutely.
It's good enough for us. The Renaissance Hotel.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on this Thursday edition of AFR from Tallulah inside of the Renaissance Hotel. We'll get to Ask Us here in just a second. You got a question, you can ask us anything about anything. Brandon Frederick said, Matt, what's the new site? I missed the name of it. It's LouisianaSports.net. Now, it's not live yet. If you go to the website, you're just going to see a landing page that says coming soon. But we are going through punch list items right now, and we will be live, and trust me, whenever we go live, you will know when we are live, and we're very, very, very excited about it. So thanks to everybody who's come out today here to Tallulah at the Renaissance, and still tons of time we're going to be hanging out. So feel free to swing on by, have dinner, drink, beer, cocktail, whatever, and chat. A lot of our staff's here. We're looking forward to a great night here, so come on by. It was day one out on the Ponderosa for LSU. Brian Kelly was asked if even after 33 years as a head coach, if he still gets sort of like the goosebumps, if he still gets excited after day one of practice.
The work that you do in the off season and all the preparation and to watch your process take place over a period of time is what excites me. It's the development of your team and what they look like and how they handle themselves. You know, I've told this story many times. My first camp, year one, I had guys taking their helmets off and throwing them at each other. You know, it was total bedlam. And now we're at that point where, they don't take their helmets off even, they know they're not supposed to take their helmets off for water breaks. And so it's just that development of your team to the eye that you have and what for your team. Just seeing the development of your team is kind of what's exciting more than anything else.
Year three at Central Michigan, they won the conference. Year three at Cincinnati, he had an undefeated season. And, of course, bounced to Notre Dame, where in year three, they went undefeated, played Alabama for the national championship. A big part of that, as Brian Kelly has said, has been culture, as you allude to there. He can ask more of his players, both on and off the field, because they know the culture and the expectation by the time you get to year three. So how does that manifest? I don't know, because I think you also have to have really good players. And I think LSU's got some really good players throughout its roster. And I think they also have some really big questions as well that we're talking about. Just one day, but again, my day one single biggest takeaway is the defense made plays. You can catch my full practice report from the Open. If you missed it, it'll be on AFR, the AFR LSU YouTube channel, or on demand, presented by Brett Golf. Just search After Further Review on your favorite podcast app. But y'all, the defense had 4 interceptions in the 7-on-7 periods. Harold Perkins, Kylan Jackson, Ashton Stamps, P.J. Woodland all had interceptions. Bernard Causey dropped what would have been a 5th interception. Paris Shand batted a ball down at the line of scrimmage. J.K. Johnson, Sage Ryan, each had really impressive plays. J.K. Johnson, pinned Kyle Parker on the sideline, forced an incomplete pass. The defense made plays. Maybe the other biggest takeaway, though, if you were watching, was number 14. And when LSU went into one of their 7-on-7 periods, number 14 caught a quick release off the line, split the defense, and housed it. And I said, gee, who is 14? And I looked down at my roster and then was not surprised to find out that it's Trades Green, who was 5-star, depending on what scouting service you look at, the number 1 player in Louisiana, him and Dominic McKinley. And my goodness, he is impressive. He was targeted 4 times on day 1, caught all 4, including high-pointing a ball in double coverage down the right sideline. Body control of a basketball player, soft hands that you'd expect from a guy that's a really great basketball player. And even in spite of that, it's not a guy that's played a ton of football, so he's still refining himself. He's only going to keep getting better. And yes, it was just day 1, and they haven't put on the pads yet. And Brian Kelly, knowing that, tried to pump the brakes just a little bit on the Trades Green hype after day 1.
Well, he certainly looks the part, right? I mean, controls his body really well, has a great deal of confidence. He doesn't look out of place in any shape or form from a physical standpoint. But he's picked things up very well for a guy that has not played this game very long. It's coming to him, I don't want to say easy, but it has not been a very difficult transition for him. And that all bodes well for players that are in their first year.
That's one that we are going to keep a close eye on throughout camp. I want to reiterate this. I'm not telling you here at 5:53 on this Thursday after the first day of fall camp, the first day of practice ever for Trades Green. I'm not telling you he's going to be an All-American. I'm not telling you he's going to make a big impact this year in the sense that I don't know that there's 40 or 30 receptions for him because of the depth you have at receiver and tight end. I mean, you have an all-conference caliber tight end in Mason Taylor. You've got Mac Markway there as well. Kamorian Pimpton is back, who is built similar to Trades Green, and that's not even counting all of the receivers. But when you have a dude with that type of skill set, he is going to create gigantic mismatches. There is going to be a role for him on this team this year. That much I'm certain after one day, because it's hard to justify not getting a guy like that involved. All right. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com. Gentlemen, if you're thinking of popping the question, you know what to do. Go where Louisianians have gone to get engaged for 40 years. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Online at LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com. Of course, at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, I say it every day, you always get the Lee Michaels experience. You walk in, they'll offer you chocolates on a tray and something cold to drink. It feels like you're making an important decision because you are. You're making a lifelong purchase to show the woman that you love how much you love her and express that with a beautiful piece of jewelry that she'll wear every day for the rest of her life. That should be an impactful, momentous experience. That's why Lee Michaels gives you that Lee Michaels experience. Oh, yeah. And the best diamonds in the world. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it has been a really good show. I just sincerely thank our friends, Nathaniel and Allison and the whole crew here at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel for rolling out the red carpet for us. Thanks to Bo Wegman for producing on site. Moose and Paulie back in studio. Hope you guys are able to get out here and shake some hands and meet some folks. LouisianaSports.net, y'all. LouisianaSports.net will be going live here in the next couple of weeks, and we're so excited to bring it to you and hopefully continue to evolve and super serve the sports fan in our state. So go to LouisianaSports.net, bookmark that page. We'll have the go live date coming soon. We're fired up for it. All right, y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, one final reminder, it's Evermore. Shout out to Cloth and Nuss, the LSU beach volleyball players who are Olympians right now competing over in the Paris Games, and they're sponsored by Evermore. They are endorsers of Evermore. So when I tell you if you're a premier athlete that wants a better form of hydration, drink Evermore, there's a case in point. Go to the website, you'll see Dak Prescott on the homepage. You go into any 7-Eleven in America, you'll see Evermore. They've got national distribution, and it's a Louisiana product. I tell you all the time. If for nothing else, don't buy water from Texas or from some foreign country. Buy a Louisiana product that is Mother Nature's masterpiece. It's natural artesian water from a natural artesian well on the North Shore. It's piped right into their facility, goes into the bottle. It doesn't touch air until you uncap it. It's Evamore. Drink Evamore. EVAMOR, evamore.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what